and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Get Off the Damn Fence. I'm your host, Larry Caution, joined as I am each and every week by co-hosts Calvin Thomas, Justin P. Barber Harris. Gentlemen, how y'all doing tonight? How y'all feeling?
I'm cool.
That's what's up,
Another
man.
day in paradise.
Yeah. We got a lot to cover tonight. The gang's back together. We appreciate you all tuning in tonight. We got Calvin and Justin here tonight, so the full crew. We got a full rundown for you. We got a lot to cover. We're going to continue with our greatest Fab Five NBA tournament next week. Give us another week. We got too much to cover tonight. We got too much to cover. That's more of a fun, as the summer goes on. No rush. We're going to get to the bottom of it. We promise you we will finish up that list. But in the meanwhile, man, Justin wasn't here last week, so I want to give him the opportunity to give his thoughts on the big news of the past couple weeks that people are still talking about. Jaylen Brown came out and did some interviews this week on his stream talking about Philly's new team together. So we're going to touch on that. We got a lot to touch on, but we have to start there first. Give Justin an opportunity, give his thoughts. So, Justin, we're going to kick it over to you first. When you heard the news, it broke the day after we had podcasted. We all gave our prediction. I know, Calvin, you said going back to Cleveland. I figured he'd go back to Cleveland. Justin, you said Miami. None of us thought he would go to Philadelphia. But at the end of the day, LeBron made the decision, go to the best team, try to get this chip. What's your thoughts, Justin, as a New York Knicks fan?
I think it's everybody against New York, first and foremost. Is it that bad?
No. We laughing at your
Laughing
Oh,
comment.
at
okay,
your
cool.
comment.
So, when I thought about it, I was like, I think we all thought it was the easiest way out. So, the competitor in him should just choose a little bit of a harder road. Um, but then I
He's
realized I was talking about
40.
LeBron James, right?
He's 40.
So there's that. It
You
don't
sound
matter.
like
It
Charles
don't matter how
Barkley.
old it is. So like I said, no, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's tough. It's. I'm not going to shoehorn them into right into the conference finals there. But we'll be waiting for them if they make it. So it's they got to get through the season. Joel Embiid's got to get through the season. And I hear people say, "Oh, he can be hurt and all this other stuff. He can take as much as he time off. Suppose he get hurt at the end of the season, then what? You know what I mean? Like you never know when it comes to this injury thing. But on paper, obviously, this is one of the best teams. Clearly, I'm not alone in saying that because KD thinks the same exact thing. Apparently, better than the Warriors of the
That was bad.
championship years. Um,
He shitted on Clay.
so it's just one of those things where when you get this a group of talent together like this, um, they have to win it all. That's the pressure that comes with that. We remember the '04 Lakers, if I'm not mistaken, against Detroit. You got to win it. You can't have Hall of Famers and your starting five is tremendous and all these other things and end up losing at the end of the day. So you got to finish it, and that's all that matters. So we'll see if they can do that.
I was thinking about something. Because you bring up the '04 Lakers. That's, if y'all don't remember, that was the Gary Payton,
Karl
Karl
Malone.
Malone team that joined Kobe and Shaq. But I also was thinking about the 2012 Lakers. Remember when they went out and got the White Howard,
Steve
Steve
Nash.
Steve
Nash
Nash,
hurt himself picking up
Kobe,
groceries or something like that.
Paul
Steve Nash
Gasol.
was injured, and Dwight Howard was injured.
But they were
Picking up
loaded
groceries, like I
though.
said.
That's the point. That is the point. So we don't know. LeBron James, 42 years old, injuries happen, especially late in your career. We know the injury history of Joel Embiid. So would any of us be shocked if something happens to this guy? No. Maxey was not healthy all last year. He could miss. He could be in and out of the lineup. You never know. Jaylen Brown's pretty consistent. and we hoping that we continue to see the maturation of the rest of this team. But I just think we don't always put the cart before the horse. We still gotta play the game. So I completely agree with you, Justin. The Knicks are still on paper the favorites in the East for a reason because we saw them do it. Calvin, one final thought. I know you gave your thoughts last week, but any response to what Justin said?
I think he's speaking as a man that's threatened by this Philadelphia 76ers team. That's what these comments said. You talk about what they are. They're a 40-year-old man, a guy that's in his second year, a Jalen Brown who has no handle, an MB that has a bulky knee, and Tyrese Maxey is probably the best player on this team. And we're treating them like they're the best team in the league since the 18 Warriors. I don't see it. It'll take time. I think the East overall is stronger, so I see the potential of this team, but a lot of things can go wrong. A lot of things can go wrong, and I just think to put the expectations on them like this is like even like KD said, like that's just crazy. Like you're trying to take heat off yourself. And if you really think this team is that great because you're a 40-year-old LeBron James, you're speaking to his greatness and you're just adding to his legacy, and he ain't even took a shot in Philadelphia yet. So,
I mean, once they got Jalen, that they was already like a championship team. They just got to get there.
They were. He's got 28 points a game night. You know what I mean? Like. I think that's the part people
you're higher on
trying to
Jalen
gloss
than I am.
over. Like the man's a good player. He's not a
Oh
alpha.
yeah, he's a great player. Finals
I don't think
MVP,
he's an
right?
alpha. I think he plays well. He even made comments about his relationship with Jason Tatum, and even alluded to they might not be that close. You know what I mean? They won a championship together. They've had ups and downs. He said that they had ups and downs. So clearly things happened that weren't reported. But I guess the thing that takes people aback is if he wanted to be the man, the alpha, you clearly ain't the man on this team. You know what I mean? So maybe he has
After
been,
last season he was.
maybe he had, but that's the point. If they trying to say he was disgruntled because he wanted to show that he could lead a team and da 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 da, you would think he wouldn't be happy in this situation, correct? Yeah, it's just
That's
weird.
a good point. I mean, I don't understand. I don't even know if we touched on this last week. Like, why didn't Golden State trade for him? Like, I think that's a team that needs him more than Philadelphia. Like that extends Steph's prime. That keeps them competitive in the West, or keeps them more competitive, I should say. So
What did they have asset wise that would have matched up the same way at
I
Paul
think
George?
they could have done Paul George a pick and a pick swap. I think they didn't.
You mean Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jimmy Butler. A pick and a
Contract
pick
matched
swap.
up.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
it was a 1-for-1.
Is there any truth, I should say, when Jason Tatum gave his interview when he was doing this, whatever he was doing, he was out doing maybe a basketball camp or something, and somebody was asking him about JB or the situation that he's in, and he said, basically to paraphrase, that the smallest guy in the room is no longer in the room. So
Man, yeah.
that gives off a, maybe JB was
Hard
an
to say.
asshole,
Yeah.
and that's not far fetched. Once in here, like I can see him thinking that he's smarter than everybody, and in every organized, every part of the organization. So you're going to the front office just because you went to, I think, Cal Berkeley, which is a great school. Like he is probably one of the smartest brothers out there, but them white people don't want to hear none of that. You know what I'm saying? And we keep wondering, why did they ship him off so easily? They wanted him going. You know what I mean? And Jason Tatum didn't go to bat for it. And when you hear similar comments like that, Jason Tatum was probably tired of his ass. You know what I mean? So how does that fare when you're dealing with arguably one of the greatest players of all time? Does that shun off LeBron? Does that shun off Embiid? Because Embiid is very intelligent himself. Like, how does that? He has to check his ego at the door in order for this thing to really work. And I don't know if he can or not. we're
think
really
there's a
going to see
difference.
throughout this season.
I think there's a difference between when you are in the locker room and you think you're smarter than everybody else. You can think that. You don't always state it if there's veterans in that locker room that have a certain cachet about them that can, like when Al Horford was on the Boston Celtics, did we hear any of this? You know what I mean? Al Horford was the leader of that team
Sure.
in many respects when were all together. No matter how great JB and Jason Tatum was, if you had Al Horford, he was the glue, and many people have said that. But the last couple of years, when there is no Al Horford, Tatum is gone. Even when Tatum was there,
Even though
who was
Kyrie.
that other guy? Porzingis? You know what I mean? Like who they got your boy out of there, the point guard, shipped him off to Portland.
Oh,
Like
Drew.
Holiday.
Drew Holiday, yeah. So maybe his voice was condescending. Maybe you could be intelligent and very condescending to people, talk down to them or belittle them, and not even realize that you're doing it. You thinking you just
Mm,
being who you are and flexing your intelligence
mm,
and what you know, and it rubs people the wrong way. And after it, yeah, you cool with it for a little while, but after a while, it's like, all right, bro, we get it. You woke. You know what I mean? You're super. You know everything. You know what I mean? That can be that can be grinding after a while. And we know what's been happening in this country the last few years. If you go on up above and beyond, and we know the stance JB is taking on different things politically, social, economically, and maybe people compare it. Oh, he's doing all this. You're not doing that. Jason Tatum getting compared as far as not just basketball. What's he doing for the community? What's he doing for, you know what I mean? After a while, are you calling my blackness into question? Are you calling my commitment to the, you know what I mean?
hmm
This could be multi-layered. This don't just have to be about putting a ball in the hoop. This could have been a lot of different things. And then on top of all of that, let's look at the makeup of what that Boston team was last year. If we put a screenshot of the best players on Boston last year next to the best players of the Philadelphia 76ers this year, Sixers look like us three right now. You know what I mean? Boston don't look like us. They look more on the lighter side. So we got to take that into consideration too. You still in Boston. You still up there in New England area where racism is still alive, man. I don't care what if you don't think that played a part, you're cool. You're fooling yourself. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, I think this thing was multi-layered, and I know we
Yeah,
could take it a
I
whole
agree.
lot of different ways, but sometimes when you think you're smarter than everybody else, and maybe you don't even realize that people they get sick of you. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Any final thoughts on that, Calvin?
No, I agree with a lot of what you said. I think it's multifaceted, played a part in some aspects. JB just got tired of it, and he felt it was better to move on. And I think winning a ring and getting secure in the bag plays a part because now I can speak up. I can have a better voice. I can voice my frustrations, and also you can send me. I can go anywhere else because I can hoop and make that team better as well. So I think all that plays a part. And it's if he doesn't want to speak on it, that's fine. I ain't got no problem with that because we can read between the lines. We can pick from some of his comments concerning comments that were made about him, like what Stephen A. said and things like that. So if he's in a better place, then I'm happy because that means he balls better. So yeah, but I agree with everything you said.
Just any final thoughts before we move on?
Um, I guess the thing that let's say a Knicks team, right? We show that we are a team, and maybe a team beats talent most of the time. But if that talent gets their act together, then the talent will overwhelm. So it's all about a team. Can Philadelphia become a team within a season? And that is a tough test. It's no guarantees.
I mean, they got. I think the bigger question they have to play enough games healthy to be ready for the playoffs. Like Embiid can't stand playing every other game and playing and not playing back to back things like that, and they
Wouldn't that make
expect
you
to
a team?
be cohesive. So
Look,
you
man,
know,
I'm gonna say this. I don't care. The Knicks won the title. Congratulations. They will not repeat if Carl Anthony Towns doesn't play like a big time player. I mean,
That's
the
a good
stakes have
segue.
risen.
I do got a question. Y'all gonna pay him? Y'all offering him the max?
We're still debating that. We're hoping that he takes a little bit of a
Cause,
discount.
cause it's what like 4 for 250 ish. Is that
Yeah,
about right?
I don't see the full extension happening
Cause
here.
I don't realize that because I was listening to NBA radio and they made a comment like if he could take like 4 for 61 per, and that would allow them to re-sign um, everyone, the role players as well. But if he takes the full, and it was like 4 for 68, 69 per, then all of a sudden you cross to the first apron. You're more limited in your roster reconstruction, things like that. So
Right, and
I
that's
think they
why
said like 7 8 per year difference will make a big difference.
and people. JB took a discount. Bridges took the
Yeah,
discount.
Wemby.
Wimby on the other side took a discount. So it's up to Carl. You know,
Yeah,
Is that a good thing though? We ain't talking about that though.
he's
Like
resetting
taking a
the
discount a
structure.
good thing?
when you are the main player and you can get significant financial upgrades outside of your sport, then I think it is a good thing. Like I
Well,
think
well
you
what
have to.
about the what
Go
about
ahead.
the others? What about the others? So look, I'll give you an example. If you're Wemby, you're San Antonio. How does it look to Stephen Castle next year when he comes up? And then like Cat with JB this year, is it because the best player took a discount? I gotta take one too. When
Yes,
he has made more money in through his career thus far more than me. Like that's the part that because I was like a bad teammate if I don't do it
but
because
it's
the
levels to
leader
this.
did it.
You
Yeah,
know
I
the thing
agree.
with it, but it's two different players.
But the
Carl
money's the
Anthony
same though. That's the thing.
Towns,
The money's similar though. That's the problem.
but Carl Anthony Towns, as number one draft pick, was maxing out almost throughout his career.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
he's
he
made
has
money.
a significant pot already. Someone like Stephen, he got to get on the come up. Like, hey,
Let me get mine.
I need to get mine first. So that's a little difference in that. So you're thinking someone like Carl Anthony Towns, like bro, like
Excuse me.
I ain't trying to check your pockets, but I know you got Jordan Woods. You feel me? But you should be good a little bit, just to take a little bit off the top, pause, and see what happens.
And it depends on where you are in your career. It depends on where you at in your team success. If we have been winning and I want to keep us together and winning is important to me, yeah, you're gonna take a little bit less. We've seen it happen time and time again. Some of the best players in the league history, Tim Duncan, have done that. Because he valued team. Everybody not gonna do that. So
Everybody
we
know that.
we could act like oh, this is gonna be a trend. No, it's an anomaly, and it's not
See,
that many well built teams.
and I think Carl Anthony Towns is the type of guy to do it based off the attention he'll get from it. Let's just say I'm saying as a fan. Let's say we went back to back. It happened. Okay. Everyone going to go to him and be like, "Hey, man, you kept this team together. You made the morale. You kept the morale up and all these. Other. He wants that attention. You could. I'm telling you, bro. I've seen this whole off season, and he's so literate.
He's
Like he's so
everywhere.
like PR ready to answer all questions, and he does a very very good job at it. JB the other one that struggles. He doesn't like that attention like
Nah,
that.
he
Carl Anthony Towns like, I'm here. Please interview me. You know what I mean? So anything to make him feel better and to make him think that he's making this whole thing work will be better for his ego.
yeah, good stuff. Let's keep it moving. Let's get into some NFL. Look, guys, I brought this up. We were talking. I was scrolling the internet from time to time. I tend to do that.
This is real.
And yeah, it's a real thing. And it was actually on IG. I converted it to this size, but there was a top 15 players under the most pressure in 2026, and this was released by Fox. The NFL, they host NFL games every week. They have a NFL section. These are Bucky Brooks, he's a writer. Eric Williams, these are former players. They're commentators. They have an opinion, and it really bothers me. But I'm gonna go through the list. Just read a couple names. At 15, look, some of these ain't worth it. Let's get down to the meat of it. The fact that Kenneth Walker, who just won an NFL championship for the Seattle Seahawks is ranked number 13 on this list, under the most pressure.
What do you got to prove?
What
Got
he
paid and got a
he
ring.
won a Super Bowl and he got paid.
Yeah. No clue.
What is your goal in life? Like
No clue.
Alec Pierce, he got drafted by the Colts. He's still on the Colts. Like,
Did he get paid too?
yeah, like
Okay.
George Pickens. Okay, he signed his franchise tag quick.
But
I get it. Maybe some pressure there. All right. Tua, I got you.
that's
If
cool.
you
I'm
wanna
okay
say-
with that.
If you want to say Tua's under pressure, he might be out of the league. Of course, he's under
I agree
pressure.
with that. I agree
That's
with
probably
that.
the first one that's legitimate.
Should be higher in my opinion.
Yes, 100%.
The first half should be all quarterbacks.
Exactly.
I think half the list should be quarterbacks.
Of course, it should be. They that see on the team. Myles Garrett.
I get it.
I get it.
I get it.
He should be
went to
lower.
a loaded
though.
team.
He should be lower though, in my opinion, because I think just the threat of Myles Garrett makes everyone else better. So
True.
I don't. But this is his first chance to win, so I see that. So I'm okay with that.
But like you just said, though, it's his first chance to actually win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what pressure comes with that? Number 8, Justin Herbert.
Should be top 3.
Let me ask you a question. How many years have people been saying Justin Herbert, one of the best quarterbacks in the league? How many playoff wins did Justin
Forever.
Herbert have?
0? Well, no, 1.
He got no.
I got 1.
Somebody fact check that, please, for us, please. One of the biggest collapse in the playoff history. He's one of the most overhyped,
That's the one
overloaded.
that people think that he won.
The Jacksonville
They choked.
game.
The Jacksonville game.
Yes. He's at number 8,
0. 0-3.
0-3.
There you go.
Never won a playoff game. And he's number 8 on the list. With a team that a lot of people think is pretty loaded, with a coach that has a lot of hype behind him. A.J. Brown, okay.
Should be on
Okay.
his quarterback should be on the list with him, in my opinion.
He won it out of Philly.
Yeah. Should
He's
be on the
in
list.
New England, a team that was just in the Super Bowl last year.
You have
You
to
would
you have the pressure of getting him back to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And everyone talked about their weak schedule last year and then winning division. It's pressure on them to repeat. So him and his quarterback should be on there. Drake May should
Yes.
be on there, in my opinion.
Bryce Young.
Should be on there as well.
Bryce Young overachieved last year.
I'm about to say most pressure. Like
He should be on. He's top 15.
he last year, he should have been on the pressure because he was on
But
his way
he still
out.
don't have no contract though. That's why I'm like his future's up in the air.
He had a very, very good season last year. He
It's
took
on
us
him
to
to
the
build.
playoffs.
It's on him to build upon. That's why I say he should be on there. All right, he should be top 15.
But it's not
I'm
like he's
saying-
working with a loaded team. Like
I
oh,
agree with that. I
is
agree with
anybody
that.
picking Carolina to go to the playoffs or win the Super Bowl?
More
Hell
people
no.
probably picking New Orleans than picking Carolina.
I'm just saying, like, what are we talking about?
since it's the division oriented, like I don't even mind if Baker Mayfield's on this list. Because you didn't had enough time. Whereas though now is your contract year. Are you worth the 50 and 60 millions that
Then
other
he-
players are
He
getting?
got disrespectful in that press conference.
You know what I mean? Like
He said,
I would understand. I would put Baker on this list and take Bryce Young off. Like
Agreed.
he
I
gave
think
himself
you
a
had both
year.
of them. I think you had both. Well, Bryce Young hasn't proven anything. That's my point.
He's a
Like,
playoff
he's-
quarterback.
he's a mediocre middle of the pack guy, but he made the
he's under
playoffs
more
last
pressure
year.
to continue to grow because he's in a contract year. I think he's in
Okay.
this, they could pick up his 50 options. So I think
Alright.
most of the list should be quarterbacks. He should be one of the quarterbacks on there. Yes.
Travis Hunter
I don't see
at
it.
number 5 on
Jesus,
the
his
list.
second year.
A sophomore
I don't see it.
wide
Third year.
receiver / cornerback.
Don't see it. And he was hurt most of last year. I don't see it.
Like,
But
what
yeah,
are
this
we
is
doing?
this is second year, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, too.
and he barely played last year.
Yeah, too.
Like, what are we doing? C.J. Stroud, okay.
Yes.
Yes. Completely
I'm with-
agree.
I'm with you. 'Cause
He's probably right in the right
Right.
area, too. He should be top 5, 6.
I don't think there's too many defenses that's too much better
Yeah.
than what he got. And that
Yeah.
embarrassing performance he had last year in
Yeah.
New England,
Yep.
man.
You know, he's one of those guys. If you just play average, your team will win.
Sure.
100%.
You got to win.
Puka Nacua.
What do you got to do?
I don't see it. He's arguably the best receiver in the league. Get ready to get paid more than
Have
Any
200
other
yards in the
receiver?
playoff game?
I don't see it. If you want to say he need to stay, he need to get the
He's
off the
supposed to
field
kick
stuff
the ball
on.
too.
That's fine.
Like they
I
couldn't
don't see
kick,
it.
they couldn't punt, they couldn't
don't see
cover
it.
punt, they couldn't stop nobody. It's his fault.
I don't see it.
What are we doing?
I don't see
And
it.
Lamar Jackson, look, Lamar got pressure on him. Ain't no question about it.
I don't
We all
think it's
know
top
that.
two.
But
It
how
ain't
can you
top
have
two.
Lamar there with no Joe Burrow, no Josh Allen? No, like if Lamar's there, Herbert's there, Allen's there, Burrow's
Burrow,
there. Like
yeah.
we can go down the list.
Yeah.
The only reason why I would put Lamar above them all, as in number one, and there's no hate, it's nothing like that.
I'm agreeing
It's
with you.
it's his resume puts him
Two-time
there.
MVP.
Yo, you was damn near 3-time MVP, dog. You know what I'm saying? So you every year until you win it, you are the most pressured, in my opinion. But once you win it, oh my God, you are now in a whole nother a stratosphere of quarterbacks.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I can name 5 or 6 other quarterbacks who fit that criteria. That's my only issue. I can name many players on the ball, off the ball. I mean, if we're going to do it like that, okay. Matthew Stafford, you cashed in that one Super Bowl when they loaded the team up, like super loaded the team up.
He should be on the list too. They
You
got
should
the
be on
arguably
this
best
list.
team. They got the best team on paper.
Y'all choked in
arguably.
the playoffs last year.
He should be on the list.
That's what happened. Like Caleb Williams. Where's JD5? Where's you know what I mean? If we're gonna start listing guys who started hot and now they faltered off, the pressure should be on all of these guys. That's all I'm saying. Because if you put number 1, Jalen Hurts,
That's the problem.
I don't see it.
Super Bowl MVP,
I don't see it.
2-time Super Bowl appearances, and outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl when he was there. He's a made man. He has a ring. He has a Super Bowl MVP, and it's more pressure on a champion than it is Josh Allen, who ain't never made it nowhere. Lamar Jackson, who ain't never made it nowhere.
Josh Allen, who last time we saw him had 4 turnovers in the playoffs. Josh Allen, who was in the playoffs with no Burrow, no Lamar, no Pat Mahomes, did not win a Super Bowl, did not make it to a Super Bowl, did not make it to the conference championship game. But there's no pressure on him. That's that BS. That's
What are we
BS.
talking about?
Josh Allen should be number 1 on this list by far, easily. If you want to say Lamar's 2, whatever.
No
I'm
Detroit
not gonna
Lions on
argue
this
with you.
whole list. No Detroit Lions. The team
Jared
that's
Goff should be
been
on there.
one of the most
I agree with that.
high-powered teams in the league the last several years. Where they at? No pressure? None? Green Bay Packers?
Look,
no pressure?
Dakota Prescott should be on there.
Dak
We didn't even talk about
Prescott.
that.
You got CeeDee
Dakota should be
Lamb.
on there.
George Pickens on here,
You
but
got
Dak
a
don't got no
revamped,
pressure.
a revamped defense. You got a stable running game. You got everything you need to go win. He
So
should be on the list.
Jalen Hurts, a Super Bowl MVP, has more pressure on him after losing A.J. Brown than Dak Prescott does when he got 2 of the top receivers in the league with him. What are we doing?
I agree with you.
on, guys.
Look, Kyler Murray should be on the list. You in the new, you on a new team. Like this is your last. This is possibly your last chance being a starter, similar to Tua. You've had very little limited playoff success. New team.
Aaron
It should be.
Rodgers is
No
back
pressure.
again.
He done, so, he done.
Why you taking a Ross spot then? And we're
Because
gonna talk about them.
He's the
I mean,
best of the worst.
I don't think they're competing. So what pressure's there on them? That's just me.
I'm just
If
saying,
you,
man.
if you think
Like-
they're competing, then okay. But they're not competing, in my opinion. I don't see it.
We're gonna talk about them tonight.
I'd throw Brock Purdy on there.
Okay. That's a good one.
Like,
Yeah, this definitely should be like majority quarterbacks and like 3 individual players
I
outside.
mean, I agree with
That's
the
it.
Miles. I agree with the Miles Garrett slightly. If Micah Parsons was healthy, I would throw him on there for non-quarterbacks.
What pressure is there on Jared Verse? What he got to do
I
with
don't-
anything?
I don't. He's not expected
got
to win
traded.
nothing. What he's supposed to have pressure to replace Miles Garrett? Nobody replaces Miles Garrett. He's there until his contract runs out. Then he want to go somewhere else. He don't want to be there. Ain't no pressure on him.
Guys, y'all tune in to get off the damn fence every week. We ain't never played in the NFL, but we talk about basketball, football from an educated perspective. These guys actually play and they get paid to give opinions. And this is stupidity they put out there in front of the national audience to read and observe. This is why it's pathetic that somebody can collect a check for writing such foolishness and get up there and you're supposed to take their word as gospel. Please be careful what you consume. Be careful what you click on and take. Oh, they must know what they're talking about because they played in the NFL.
You ain't never heard of Eric Williams or Bucky Brooks. You ain't never heard neither one of them.
Man, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. Anyway, I just felt it was good fodder because it's pathetic. The shots that people have been taking at, and then the elephant in the room. I brought this up. It's 15 names on this list. Look at the faces. 2 of them are white. Justin Herbert and Alec Pierce. What? So nobody else white got pressure on them? Is all brown and black people? Like, come on, guys. Let's stop. Let's keep it moving. Big news this week, man. Over the last couple of days, the dam just broke.
Running backs, yeah.
Running backs just started getting paid. First, it kicked off. I think was Jonathan Taylor first.
I thought Bijan was first. That happened a couple days ago.
Yeah, it was in this order. Bijan was first, 3 years, 75. Then JT just did a 2-year deal worth 44, 22 a year. And then Jahmyr Gibbs signed today, 3 years, 67. Man, but I think he had some other incentives in there.
He got, because what I saw was 3 years, 75.5 or something like that.
Yeah, it was with some other stuff added in there.
Okay.
He's over Bijan, but man, big money. Running backs is back. We've been seeing this over the last several years. For a while there, the NFL went to a 2-back system where you was doing a rotation, and still some guys do have a good backup. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs had David Montgomery. Bijan had what's his name, Tyler Algier. Yeah, running behind him. JT pretty much a one-man game, but for the most part, we have really seen some big-time featured backs. Derrick Henry has been doing his thing the last few years. He just signed a contract. I think he might be up for another one. He said he's going to finish his career in Baltimore. So I think he's looking to secure his future long term. We saw Achane for the Miami Dolphins sign a big contract, said he wants to be the Russian champion, take it to the next league. So pretty much, if you want to be successful in this league, you have to have a good running game. A lot of the offenses have been turned into the RPO, run pass option, run to set up the pass, play action, mobile quarterbacks. We've seen more black quarterbacks with athleticism, and running the game is the best friend of a good athletic quarterback. And I just think this is where the game has gone. And it's great to see these teams develop. And we're going to talk about a couple teams later that really, I think, which will make them a contender is if they have a strong running game. But what do y'all think about the contracts? Justin, I'll start with you. Some of these deals that we're seeing and people who's still on the horizon.
I want to give respect and praise to Saquon and Derek for probably being the best 2 running backs, arguably, when the running back position took a dip. When as though they're not needed, it's not that important. Don't worry about it. You don't need it, all that stuff. Now that period is clearly over, let these guys cash in because they are just as important as any other position. No, you just can't replace a Bijan. You just can't replace a Gibbs. You damn sure can't replace a Jonathan Taylor. You see what he can do literally by himself. So, it shows that the position is just finally getting respect. It's catching up with the other positions. These wide receivers are getting about 20 a year, 30, 40 a year. So it's finally trying to catch up with them. And it shows that eventually some of these guys might make more, in my opinion, because if you are, and this is what I'm doing if I'm PA, I'm like, this dude can run and this dude can catch.
Yep,
how is he different than a wide receiver? Like, you know what I'm saying? He just don't post out a wide enough. Do you want him to start doing? We can do that. That's the next evolution when it comes to that. NFL, the players union, whatever, association. Yeah, so that's the next step in my opinion, because if you can do both, why aren't you? the number one outside of maybe left tackle and quarterback. So I think that's the most important thing is just you keep pushing, but you need athletes and you need studs, pause, to push that narrative. And you're looking at three of some of the best ones to do it in the NFL right now.
And also add Christian McCaffrey to that list because he was also
Yes, yes,
one of
Christian as
those
well.
guys as well. Yeah, Calvin.
Look, I think all three of these guys, especially Bijan and Jameer, deserve their money. I know Bijan and Jameer were trying to figure out who was going to be the highest paid running back, kind of waiting for each other out. But the key is Jameer has a better team than Bijan Robinson. We no one expects much from Atlanta. They're probably picking high in the draft. I'm happy to see Jameer be valued, even though he came from a two-back system. Um, this is a time for one of these guys to they're the best running back in the league and kind of take that mantle from Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. Jonathan Taylor, still playing that system, still trying to hopefully get his quarterback back and he can contend once again like he was early in last season. But I'm excited to see running backs get paid because I believe with these three, I think that makes seven altogether with quarterbacks making averaging over 20 million per year with Barkley, including rookies. So it includes Love from Arizona, but I think it's Achane, Barkley, and Derrick Henry as well. So we're kind of seeing running backs be valued again for their contributions on the field, and kind of going away from this, running back by committee. We're going to use one guy for this, one guy for that, and these are the seven guys, including the rookie, who are standout against amongst everyone else.
And we've seen it the last couple years in the draft. Running backs going pretty high again.
Yeah, I
You know
think
what I mean?
Ashton Genty as well. So I
Yeah,
think it's
then
eight. I take
signed
that
the
back.
big went early and now Love this year. Yeah, I like that because at the end of the day, wide receivers are dependent players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all know that. If the quarterback don't get you the ball, that can take you out of a game. But a bell cow back, and like you say, Justin, that was an important point. Someone who can run and catch, and look, that's somebody that's so important, especially when these quarterbacks are younger and getting thrust into the games early. You're not getting that a couple years to sit there and learn. You got the best friend. We always say the best friend to a young quarterback is a tight end. But these days, the best friend to a young quarterback can be a dual threat running back who I can dump the ball off to. How many times do we see Tom Brady just chuck the ball 5 yards down the field and somebody take off
Because
running?
you lucky Tom Brady ain't have a stud like these guys.
Man, man,
Sure.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
and again, congratulations. We love to see people get paid for what they doing on the field. Next, Zay Flowers got a big contract extension this week. When you look at the money compared to what we just talked about for the running backs, one might say a running back. Again, we looking at look 3 year 75 million, 2 year 44. Zay got four for 140. You know what I mean? Like that.
That's why I
It's an
say you
extension.
gotta keep fighting if you the running back.
But it's
You
an
gotta keep
extension. Why
fighting.
why why we argue it's an extension? So
I,
it's 6 years, what, like 170 or something like that, I believe. When you
would
add
that work
in,
out to
it's like 25. I think it's 27, 28 a year.
somebody?
So he's $7, $8 million less than Jay Jettis, who's been passed by like 6 or 7 receivers.
I'm
It's
not
timing is the
comparing wide
market.
receivers. I'm comparing running backs to wide
Okay,
receivers and the
okay.
pay scale.
I, I
Like
mean, that's
I'd
fair
rather
too.
pay a running back who going to impact the game way more than a wide receiver. But wide receivers
The,
pay scale was so much higher. That was the
the,
point.
and
But
then the only other thing I'll add when I look at Zay's stats and how they've improved every year. I think he had like 60 for 80 for 800 his first year, 70 for 900 1,000 his second year, and last year he had 80 for 1,200. In each of those 3 years, the Ravens had the least, next to last, and second to last pass attempts in the league, and he's putting up those numbers. I'm not saying he's overpaid, underpaid. I'm just saying I like the contract for what he does. And if you can put him in a Declan Doyle offense, and we're expecting bigger things from the offense as a whole, his numbers should explode. Not saying they will, but if we're projecting this out, if you throw the ball more, he'll get more receptions, he'll get more yards, he'll get more touchdowns. That's all I got.
Justin, any thoughts on Zay getting an extension?
Um, he's been getting some disrespect from former players. I just hope that he puts a season together where as though he can, silence all haters, which is, it goes hand in hand with Lamar Jackson. The further they go together,
That's true.
the more doubters that you can hush up, that you can silence, and that's what it's all about. He's in a position where it's like, I got my money, I am one of the better receivers in there, but people don't put me in the top 10. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't get mentioned in the top 10. It doesn't come off easy like you can name off the Chases, the Cheddars, and all these other, and he can have better stats than, let's say, a Justin Jefferson. But they'll never put him ahead of a Justin Jefferson. So he gotta you got your money, that's squared away. Now you gotta just go ahead on and put that on the field. You want to put it on the field that I am the best receiver in the league, and see what happens from that. So I think that's his next progression as a receiver.
See, my problem isn't about numbers, and I think that's where people get confused. Zay has not shown up in big moments. You know what I mean? Like, people say Lamar don't show up in big moments. I can point to certain games where Zay either wasn't available.
That's true.
Like, we know the games.
That's fair.
Fumble the
fumble.
ball at the goal line. Turn the
That's
ball
fair.
over.
Rookie year, fair. Next year
I'm just
wasn't
saying.
available. This year wasn't no playoffs. So yeah.
Last year in the playoffs, he wasn't available.
2
like-
years ago.
You know what I mean? It's just. It's all you
Hey,
got.
give me a good number 2. Y'all let one of them go to
You always
Washington.
say that.
But I mean, even still, when you go back and look at that playoff game
Bateman's
against
supposed to be the number
Pittsburgh,
one, but he's not.
look at that game against Pittsburgh. Who was your number 2? You let him walk. That was likely. Who stiff armed somebody, got you down to the 10, who had big catches, who Bateman caught the first touchdown, Justice Hill caught a touchdown, Derrick Henry ran for 2. You had balance. The next week you probably felt the impact of Zay not playing as well because you had no one. You had a Mark Andrews fumble, you had a Mark Andrews drop, you had a bad center pitch by Tyler Linderbaum. So,
But I guess the point is, when you're paying a guy this type of money, you're looking at him like a top receiver in the league. So,
is he the
top
best
receiver in the league
receiver that
come
they
with top
drafted ever?
expectations in the league, huh?
Is he the best receiver they drafted ever?
Yeah. No, wide receiver,
Wide receiver, yeah.
Calvin. Is that really something to flex about? Like,
I'm not. I'm just trying to.
That's
Why
an
you so
indictment.
Question.
why you ask that question?
I'm just asking.
Yeah,
that's an
that's true.
indictment of the organization. That's not
That's
really
fair.
like
That's
a praise
fair.
to Zay.
That's fair. I mean,
Is that what
That's
you
what I'm saying.
was that in support of Zay?
I think Zay is top 12 in the league. Like I feel like y'all disrespecting him, but I think he's
Oh,
top 12
come
in the
on,
league.
man. No.
I said
Calvin,
top
you
10.
don't have to. You can put your palms down for a minute. We being legit. We being honest. You are a Cowboys fan. Is Zay better than the 2 receivers you got?
No.
So that's all I'm saying.
Would I rather have
got
him than
2 of
Pickens and Pickens' current contract situation? Who's going to want more? That's
But
another
the point
conversation.
The point is the fact that we can sign Zay with so little fanfare, no holding out, no big. It's going to take a lot. Nobody even was thinking about.
But I
it
think
was going to be hard to sign
I
Zay.
think it was easier to sign him because the parameters were already there. Because you had, I think it was Drake London that signed earlier this offseason,
He
and
did.
JSN signed, but I think he got the most money ever. But Puka's going to pass him. But
And
I think
he's
he's
none of
comparable to
them.
that. He's comparable to that the guy in Atlanta who I just named. He's comparable to that in my
Drake
opinion.
London.
So Drake London. So the parameters were already there. So I
So
think
let
it's
me
just a
ask you a
matter
question.
of the total money, which he got more guaranteed money than anyone.
Is being comparable to Drake London a flex?
If you look at his numbers,
That's- I'm just
they don't
saying.
win.
I'm not disrespecting
For no
Zay.
quarterback,
I
you
think
look
Zay
at
is
his
the number
numbers.
2. I don't think Zay is the number 1.
Let me
That's
ask you a
all I'm
question.
saying.
Now that you brought us on this journey, Calvin, what do you think Drake London would do with Lamar Jackson? He'll have probably better stats than Zay fucking Flowers.
He's what,
And I
1 or 2
like
years
Zay.
older? Okay.
The
fair.
catch radius, the
He's just small.
the
So
big
you're saying
playability.
because he's tall, he would have more receptions. Okay.
He's a star. He just don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
And you're saying that a guy with no quarterback, his numbers are comparable with a guy with a Two-time MVP.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. I'm saying a guy with no quarterback is comparable to a guy whose team throws the least amount of passes in the NFL. That's what I'm saying. So yes. So if Zay got Drake London targets, I'm expecting more
Hold on.
receptions and more yards. So yes, that's what I'm saying. Because
But
the
what comes
Ravens,
first,
as
the
I
chicken or
said,
the
had
egg?
the least amount of passes
What
last
comes
year,
first?
the second least amount of passes the year
Why?
before, and the third amount the year before. So that's what I'm
If you
saying.
have
Yes.
if you have a specimen on the outside,
Exactly. You
guess
throw
what
the
you
ball
do?
more.
You throw the ball more. That's just
So
what you do.
they have arguably, if you want to argue this point, that's something I'm not saying that they do. They have arguably a on par running back as the Ravens do. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Beat them.
Okay, and they're finding more ways to throw the ball more in order to get him the ball. So Zay is putting up these numbers with less total passes. So you give him the same amount of total passes as you give Drake London. I don't even know Drake London's numbers, but do I expect him to be Zay's numbers to be better? Yes. So you're paying for potential at this point. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not disagreeing. I think somebody can listen to this and think I'm disrespecting Zay Flowers. I'm disrespecting the organization for not giving Zay the support he needs on the other side. Because I don't think when they drafted Zay Flowers, they drafted him to be a number one receiver in this league. Can we agree on that? That's not what they saw when they saw him. Just off of size alone, he's a slot guy. He's a speedy Z guy. You know, he can get you in and out of cuts. You know what I mean? He can exploit the middle of the field. You're not lining him up and running 9 routes. Like, that's not what he's there for. He's not a Tyreek where his speed is just going to take the top off the defense and you just say, go do it. This is no disrespect. He can shock you here and there because you threatened by the run of Lamar Jackson. So maybe you come up a little bit, he get behind you, run a nice route. All I'm saying is I would love this team better had they gone out, gotten another threat to pair with Zay, and then we can see a full potential
We
of this
got the
offense.
next coming to Michael Thomas. So what do we need another threat for?
Hey, I like the young fella. I'm not saying we don't. I'm just saying.
I'm just
let's
telling.
go
I'm
out
just saying
there.
what they said. I'm not. That's
You
not
got-
what
you
I'm
gotta
talking
prove
I
about.
like the young
I'm just
fella.
saying
Look,
what they said.
It's a lot of
said it
guys
the
that's
other day.
comparable to a lot of guys until October, whenever the season starts. There's a lot of guys that's comparable, and then you don't see. We still looking for Matthew Golden down in Green Bay. There's a lot of guys that has comparisons until the season starts. We'll see.
Look, I'm agreeing with everything you say. And if Jacoby Lane go out there and be that guy, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be the first one. Woo woo woo. Let's go. But again, congratulations, Zay. 4 years, 140 million. Congratulations. But it's a reason why George Pickens signed a franchise tag for the highest. He's a number one, legit number one, and it's gonna take some work to sign him. That's all I'm saying. He
He's
happily
there
put
because
pen
no
to
one
paper
wanted to pay
like
the price
just
to trade
happy
for
to be
him.
here, huh?
He's there because no one wanted to pay the price to trade for him. But you can't tell me any position player is happy to sign a franchise tag.
He just happy to be here.
Like that doesn't make any sense.
They proud. He could go.
And sign and then sign the thing in April. Who does that?
Hey, he don't want to be a distraction. They try and win a Super Bowl in Dallas. I congratulate him.
No, they not because ain't no pressure on Dak. We already talked about that.
We know that list is bogus. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Let's get into some NFL previews. We'll talk more football as we go. We covered a lot of teams last week, but we held off because Justin wasn't here. So we kicking off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week. The Bucs had an interesting last season. Baker Mayfield is disgruntled about his contract, feel like he's disrespected. But in the offseason, the Bucs went out there. They went and drafted Reuben Bain to add to that team. A lot of high expectations for this young fella that come in here and re-solidify that defense. Vita Vea is still sitting in that middle, one of the most dominant defensive linemen in the league. Outside of that, there were a couple losses in the offseason that are going to be interesting what they're going to do to try to replace him. Mike Evans is gone. Many thought that would never happen. Mike Evans has been with the Bucs. Feel like he's forever. You know what I mean? All-time leading receiver type of guy. Set records, all that good stuff. But now he's in San Francisco. How will the team move on? We saw they drafted his replacement last year. We'll see if he takes the next step this year. Justin, give us a season preview outlook on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, your team.
Um, this is interesting, right? So we have to battle the division. We pretty much always 8-8. I know not every done. I know Atlanta was probably like a game or two, but we all 500 in my opinion, right? So what can we do to be better than the next person? I guess one of the things that we could do is we need to hire a different coordinator. Our offensive corner, we got another one in. Because when we do have a good season, they go to other teams. They went to Carolina, they went to Jacksonville, right? So we got somebody. That's one. Shout out, Zach Robinson came from Atlanta. Okay, that's one. Two, we needed to rush the quarterback. That was the number one thing. I always make fun of it. I swear, I saw this one play where Lamar Jackson, and it's probably one of the reasons why I can't stand Lamar Jackson. One of my guys had him on dead to right, sprint across the line, and Lamar looked at him and smiled. I said, I can see the man smiling through the goddamn face mask because we really didn't have any pressure, right? And it was that sad. So we picked up Ruben Bain because the Ravens did not want him. You know, wanted an offensive lineman, which totally understandable. But he's a Florida guy. I'm not gonna lie. He fits right in with the team. Just one of those hard nosed guys. If the number one thing against him is his arm size, then I take that because his foot speed and everything else is very very high. He's definitely off the metrics, and he's doing it in preseason in the mini camps and stuff. Once again, I just made a case against you guys. It doesn't matter what you do. What matters what happens during the season, but it's a good start for him. The Mike Evans situation. Mike Evans ain't want to be here no more. Let's just call it what it is. He did not want to be here no more. Cool. Have fun in San Francisco. Hopefully you don't get hurt because a lot of people actually. Oh, Ricky Preston just got hurt. So hopefully you don't fall for that. Hopefully you don't get into that.
You want to throw that in there.
With that being said, we got a Ted Hurst. He is very similar to your lane guy. We are looking at him as a Mike Evans replacement. Similar stature, similar build, similar catch radius. Can he do the catches once the season starts? We will see. Baker's on a we got to this point with Baker. If he has a phenomenal year, we're gonna have to pay him. We're gonna let him go. Sorry, excuse me. We'll see what happens. I think he's gonna have a better season. So we might gotta pay the man, and then we gotta see how that messes what the GM gotta do his job at that point. So be it Vita, we gotta give Vita straight up. We gotta fix Vita first. Everyone says when we go through the defensive tackles and stuff like that, I hate that his name doesn't get brought up higher than what it should, especially when Aaron Donald comes back. Oh, he's going to be a top 3 defensive tackle as soon as he comes back. But goddamn, let him play at least 2 games first before he say he's top 3 already. There's other guys that still playing. With that being said, good outlook, good off season. We had a very, very good off season, and we got to see what we can do once the season starts. So. I'm still shaky. Chris Godwin got to stay healthy. And Mecca got to take the next step. What I'm saying? To be that guy that for the first half, we need that through the whole season. We need that. I know, Larry, you had him on your fantasy team. I know you felt some kind of way once he dropped off. We need that production throughout the entire year, and then we're going to see what happens when it comes to the postseason. I think we can go right back to the postseason. And Todd Bowles, I support. I don't trust, but I support my man Todd Bowles. And that's it. So Bucky Irvin's a great running back. I think Gainwell. I think they're gonna split carries, guys, because I like Gainwell. He's a very Kenneth is a very very good back. Yeah. So it's not like a one back situation. It's gonna be whoever's hot, and then whoever's not. Sean Tucker's gonna have a great game because he's only gonna give you one great game per season. With that being said, we should go back to the playoffs, and then we see what happens once that happens.
Calvin, what's your thought?
Has there been any update on Vita Vea's contract situation, or he's still a hold in?
His agent said it looks like he's going to be finding another team. We're going to see what Jason Light has to say.
So talking about via trade, or after the season?
It will have to be via trade, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
they talking about trade.
okay. I mean, I agree with you. I don't think he gets the flowers he deserves. He's one of the better tackles, run stoppers. I think he's very underrated. I think he should easily be top three, four in the league easily. He's someone that really plugs the middle for you guys. I think this is as much changes and as much has gone on in this division. I think you can make a case for any of these four teams winning the division. I think Tampa arguably has the best quarterback situation. Now, is he a disgruntled quarterback? And I don't know what happens if disgruntled Baker's the same as what happened in Cleveland. Two totally different situations. One where the organization didn't believe in him, and one where he wants to be paid. He feels like he already took his pay cut, and he's proven what he needs to do, and he should be paid like a upper echelon quarterback. And that usually means you got to be the highest paid quarterback because the next in line is always going to be the highest paid in line with the NFL. Um, I think this division is tough. I can see you guys. I can see it coming down to the end of the season once again. But like I said, I think you have the best quarterback. I think you arguably have the best coach. I think this defense has gotten better. With the additions made, is the offense. Can the offense withstand the loss of a Mike Evans? Can it withstand the loss of a Bucky Irvin? Can that's what we need to see, and I
Bucky
think that's
Irvin
what
in.
I'm sorry. I said Bucky Irvin. I meant the one that went to Washington.
Shaw White.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Bucky Irvin.
we good on that. Mhm.
So I think that's what I need to see from this team. I don't know if I have them winning the division, but I think they need to get some of their bigger or their stars paid. You got to keep those stars happy, and those guys will help you win games. Vita Vea and Baker Mayfield are arguably the best guys on offense and defense, and they're both unhappy going into the season. I'm not sure if that's a good recipe for winning. So I'm kind of want to see how those situations play out before I make a determination. But I think 9 and 8, 10 and 7 is right around that threshold where you guys should be, along with everyone else in that division. So, but with the best quarterback, he should be able to win you games, especially against your division opponents. But I think he needs to be happy, and I think he needs to get paid.
The problem with this team is they turn the ball over too much. It's the bottom line. Like, have you shored up your offensive line? Have you made it so Baker's not running for his life? Have you made it so he look, Mike Evans was security blank. He missed a lot of games last year. Last few years he had some injury issues. But at the end of the day, like you say, wide receivers got to step up. Wide receivers got to be healthy. They got to be available. Because when Baker's out there trying to emphasize, and it works out. When it's great, it's great. When he's running around in the fourth quarter, like what was your thing last year about the second quarter? Was it or the what was you say?
That was 2 seasons ago. The second quarter was the worst quarter because he's going through an interception. And God damn it, he did it for majority of the season. But I mean, he did clean that up this past season. It's just they came at the other times. You know what I mean? It just wasn't.
They have to take care of the football, and again, if the running game, if Bucky Irvin's gonna, we just talked about how important the running back position is. The best friend to Baker Mayfield will be if Bucky Irvin becomes a featured tailback, and the offense is centered around play action football, allowing the running game to dictate the pace of the game, and you don't have to go out there and just keep firing on all cylinders. I like your tight end. I like your receivers when they're healthy. You know what I mean? And I hope, like you say, if Mecca takes that next step in year 2, he could be special, man. We saw some flashes of it last year, but he
healthy.
fell off the mountain, dog. And that's going to tell the tale. So we'll continue to monitor it. I think that, like you say, with Atlanta, not sure what they're doing at the quarterback position. New Orleans might be more competitive this year, and Carolina was a playoff team. I think it'll be competitive, but I do think they're the best team on paper. But you can't win a championship with paper, so we'll see how it plays off. Next up, let's keep it moving. The Minnesota Vikings going up in the NFC North. NFC North was very competitive the last 2 years. You had Chicago stepping up. You know what Detroit is a compromiser, and then Green Bay. So this is the most competitive division outside of the NFC West in the league. And I think you could make a case that it's more competitive because the NFC West has the Arizona Cardinals. This division has 4
The Minnesota
good,
Vikings.
huh?
Says the Minnesota Vikings.
You're disrespecting them. Anyway, they have, if Kyler Murray, which is their new addition, is there. We don't know the status completely of J.J. McCarthy yet. But let's say you get healthy Kyler and he's unlocked under that Kevin O'Connell system. And we know Kevin O'Connell and that offense is able to put quarterbacks on the move. We saw what he did with Sam Darnold. We seen what he was able to do with J.J. McCarthy when healthy. I think we saw what he did with Kirk Cousins. If Kyler Murray can give you just healthy football and is able to move around and is able to show his athleticism, unlike Justin Jefferson, who is still one of the top receivers in this league, T.J. Hawkinson, one of the best tight ends when healthy. They have weapons. Don't forget. They went out and got one Aaron
They already had him. You talking about
that's what I'm
Aaron?
talking about last year. They went out and got him last year.
Okay.
They weren't able to utilize him to the best of his ability at running back. But he's still there. Like, they have weapons. You disrespecting this team like they ain't got nobody or something. You added Jawan Jenkins to that wide receiver room who already had playmakers. Jawan Jennings, you know what I meant, from San Francisco.
No, that was fine. What was their record last year?
It wasn't 14-3.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
This is 2 years ago they were 14-3. That's not my fault. But anyway,
I believe they finished fourth in that division.
but all the teams,
believe, okay.
they had the quarterback was the problem. They got injured, and they still were competitive all year. Like, they have playmakers, and I think, like I said, if Kyler Murray is able to maturate under that Kevin O'Connell system, the Minnesota Vikings will be competitive in the NFC North. I have no doubt. Calvin, I'll start with you.
This team, it no matter who starts the quarterback, they have the worst quarterback in the division, in my opinion.
Is that saying a lot? Like,
I
you
think
in
the
a
addition
position
of
where
Kyler
Caleb
Murray
Williams,
he has to establish himself once again as a upper tier quarterback in this league. I think this they've lost a lot on defense. I think this team really needs to prove to Justin Jefferson that they can still compete and they're still able to go out here and attempt to win ball games, because you can see his frustration starting to mount. Now, I've always said this is a sneaky, depending on what happens in another division, this is a sneaky team to trade for a quarterback because of the assets they have and because they have Justin Jefferson. I still think this is the worst team in that division. I don't think the addition of Kyler Murray will do enough to leapfrog Chicago, Detroit, or Green Bay. They lost a ton on defense, in my opinion. I think the defense will get worse. Kevin O'Connell's a great offensive mind, so he'll try to balance that out. But this isn't the same team that was a formidable team on defense that was able to wreak havoc and make plays on defense. And I think they've overall gotten worse. You're just hoping that you have a quarterback that's able to make plays and get Justin Jefferson the ball and sort of keep him happy. I don't think this is a great off-season or outlook for the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay, so they finished third in their division last year. Detroit was last.
Okay.
and what was their record?
9-8. They was 9-8. Lions was 9-8. The Packers was 9-7-1. So you can also say 9-8. So they were still in the mix.
With no
They just
quarterback.
didn't. With no quarterback.
With no
And
quarterback.
that was the journey that we about to go down right now. And I'm sorry that I had to walk you through it, only because they're not as far off as what the season seemed like it was. The season did seem like it was worse than what it was, but they were winning games. And I think Kyler Murray is. It's funny because they're both in Minnesota, right? And stay with me now. Shout out to Chad. Stay with me now. LaMelo Ball is now in Minnesota. Kyler Murray is in Minnesota. I say these two because they were looked at as gamers / knuckleheads / not taking the game as serious as you need to take it. Now, it was okay in Charlotte. It was okay in Arizona. That's the team that drafted you. Now that you got cut from your team, that's that comfortability is gone. That you know what I'm saying, like, oh snap, like I have real pressure now. Way more than you ever felt, because the next step is pretty much on the way out the league, especially for Kyle. So he's in a position where he has one of the most dynamic receivers to ever grace that the grass in Jay Jettis. What Kyler does best, and once Justin gets a hold of that and understand what that is, you are talking about they might skyrocket to top of their division when it comes to offense.
Easy.
That's easily another 400 yards throughout the entirety of the season that Justin can get just by Kyler being elusive, making things happen. And next thing you know, you got a big bomb across the middle because Justin went to go get it. So it's like it's there, and I think that they have a chance to take the lead in the division yet again. This division is very difficult. It's a tough division, obviously. However, I do think that they have more playmakers when it matters the most. And I think their defense is good enough to maintain what they did. It wasn't like they were worse in the division defensively. They were decent in the division. Their offense is what really sputtered. I think Kyler gets his head on right, stays off the Call of Duty as much as he used to do, and actually gets down to the nitty gritty of being a good quarterback. And next thing you know, you'll have this team looking at the playoffs to see if they can get it.
Look, I agree. I think people forget a lot of what happened last season, but if you they looked good with JJ McCarthy and he got hurt. They didn't have a suitable backup. They look at some of the quarterbacks they rolled out there, and they still finished third in the division and with a better than 500 record. And again, you can point to the defense and what's his name who sued the NFL. What he was able to do with
the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, ball head, yo. He the defensive coordinator for them. God, what is his name?
Brian?
No, he used to be Miami Dolphins head coach. Oh God,
Keep talking.
y'all know how I'm talking about. Anyway, what he was able to do with that defense, it wasn't about players, it was about scheme. And I think, okay, you lost. Look, Grenard was a great player. He'll be missed, but well, let's be real. Like
Brian
Jonathan
Flores.
Allen ended the rope. Like Harrison Smith ended the rope. These weren't like starters. These were like rotation guys at this point in their career. Like they went out and drafted well in the offseason. I think they're going to be fine. And they retooled because they knew that the draft was what really was going. They got some talented edge players in the draft. They went out and got Van Ginkel. They're going to unlock him in the off. I mean, they already had him, but they're going to unlock him this season because he's maturing and becoming a premier defender in this league. I just think you selling them short, man.
They had the
You
best
really
team
are.
defense in that division.
Aaron Jones he quietly
You're
had
high on
a
him.
very good year last year with no
You're high on
quarterback.
him.
That's the part you're missing.
They won 5 straight on the way out.
And T.J. Hawkinson got hurt, and when he came back, you put him. JJ was on what they got Addison on the other side.
Mhm.
Like
And they got Jawan Jennings now. They got 3.
to replace Nella, that's an upgrade. That's an
Yes, and
upgrade
they
all
got
day.
the tight end coming back.
T.J. Hawkinson.
Okay.
I think they're fine. I think they'll be good. Let's continue in this division with the Detroit Lions. This was the disappointing team. Remember, Minnesota beat them. Like it was like they beat them. They beat Green Bay. They beat all the teams when they were supposed to. Like you say, they won 5 straight going up. But Detroit was the biggest disappointment, probably in the NFC. This was the team a lot of people thought would be, Super Bowl contender. They were knocking on the door. Dan Campbell had this team ready to play, biting kneecaps, and the two-headed monster at running back. Well, they lost David Montgomery in the offseason. DJ Reader's out of there. I think he's in Texans now. I think they'll still be fine. They went out and got Pacheco to be a backup, not a starter. So I think Pacheco is better served as a backup running back than a starter that he was in Kansas City. Jared Goff has pressure on him. Y'all can talk about, what he did when he was out there in L.A., but he got traded for Matthew Stafford. And they've had a great offense. They've had talent. They got Amar St. Brown. They have, playmakers all over the field and a very creative offense when Ben Johnson was there. But now that Ben Johnson's gone, you can see Denver might not have no clothes. Like that offense looked completely different last year without Ben Johnson running it. So the question is, without Ben Johnson, 2 years now in that coaching room, will this Lions team continue to be? They finished last in the division without Ben Johnson last year. Now again, a lot of teams' records were close, so it's not like it was that far off a game here or there. But that's a lot to prove, and I think this is a. If anybody deserved to be on a most pressure list, is this team. Like Jared Goff and their head coach Dan Campbell. The clock is ticking. Calvin, I'll start with you.
A couple years ago, when they had their best season, I think someone called and saying all their hard games were at home, and then it kind of flipped last year. They have a third place schedule and they have a ton of talent, and I think they'll be able to take advantage of both of those situations. I believe their toughest game of the season is at it may be Buffalo's first home game in their new stadium. I know it's a home game, but besides that, they're gonna outside of the division. I don't think they play a winning team outside of well, Bucks. Y'all winning team, right? Yeah, winning record. Yo,
We was 8-9.
Oh, okay. So I take that back then. So I don't know if they play a team with a win record outside of their division. So I think they'll be able to take advantage of those wins and kind of go from there. I think Jared Goff has pressure. I think Jameer Gibbs has pressure. They let go of David Montgomery, so you kind of got rid of. I think it was Sonic and Knuckles, what they called themselves. Um, you lose two offensive linemen. You got to replace it. You had a high draft pick as well, so you're able to kind of compensate there. But this team has a lot of pressure on them. They have a lot of home games, but they're against teams that they should win. They should have a better record than they had last year. They should be competing for number one overall seed based off their record, and maybe not based off their team. So I think it's pressure on them to kind of show last year was a fluke. It was based off the injuries kind of carrying over for that last season. We had to get adjusted to our new coordinator. So it's a lot of pressure on Detroit, in my opinion, and Dan Campbell to trust his coordinators. Last year, he took over play calling late in the season. You can he had
Trash.
one great game. Everyone kind of give him his flowers, and then after that, it was just aggressive calls. It was going forward on fourth downs, and the offense started to deteriorate. So it's on Dan Campbell to trust his coordinators. They're in place for that reason. Trust Jared Goff. Trust the punter. Trust the kicker. Take points when you can, and then I think they'll be okay. But it's a lot that has to change from last year to this year for Detroit.
And they get Aiden Hutchinson back, so
I thought
that
he
should help.
I thought he was hurt 2 years ago. He was hurt last year
Well,
too.
he was still not 100%. You know what I
Okay.
mean? The
Yeah,
injury
he
he
had a
had.
broken leg or something like
Yeah,
that.
they say sometimes that take a little longer. But
Yeah.
you lose Terry Arnold and DJ Reader, which the defense wasn't good to begin with. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you
Yeah.
lose two other key
Well,
pieces.
isn't and Terry Arnold was the one that got falsely arrested or something like that?
I heard it was something like that, yeah. But you
Or
should bring him back then.
where they kind of jumped the gun or something like that. I forgot because it was in Miami, right, or something like that.
I can't recall, but I
Yeah.
can look it up.
Okay.
Justin, give your thoughts, and Calvin, you researched that while we listen.
I think they scored. They was top five in scoring. They was top two in fourth quarter scoring. So when you
That was
have
a
a
lot of
record like
comeback stuff.
9-8, what where did it go wrong? It was defense. It was their defense. Their defense was absolutely off. So they had. If you tell me that they spend the off season and solidifying their defense, then cool. I see how far they can get. But when I don't believe that's the case, then we have to go through the season. So if you had to score damn near 10 points in the fourth quarter just to be an average, so what were you doing for the first couple quarters?
That's true.
I remember seeing Jameer Gibbs, and he'll have 3 touchdowns one game, and then nothing the next game, and then he had three more than that. So where was the consistency throughout the entire season? And I think that's where they missed their coordinator, and then that's where the flow was going. It wasn't necessarily just when you mess up the timing of everything, and then there's a new voice, even though it's the head coach because he pretty much took over. It was still just like something was missing offensively that we didn't necessarily used to seeing, and I think that affected the defense as well. So when you have all those things happening, even with good playmakers and decent, great scoring and everything, it leads to, I guess, holes in your game plan. And I think the other teams in the division took advantage of that. So they have to do a better job of streamlining the offense, and hopefully the
Yeah.
defense can take 3 steps up, and then they can go back to what they were. Until then, they will repeat last year.
I think they also fell into the trap of the two back system. I think too many times he would go away from Jameer Gibbs, and like you say, one game
Just
he
to
might
give
get three.
Montgomery some courage. Yep.
Montgomery was getting love.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think that kind of led to why they let Montgomery leave. It's like, okay, we're gonna pay Gibbs. We're gonna have to let him be the featured guy. You know what I mean? Because sometimes he would stand on the sideline and be like, okay, all right, when are you gonna put him back in? You know what I mean? And then in the fourth quarter, they down. That's why that you say they had a top five offense because they down. They need to score quick. We need high power. Let's go. Let's go. And show what you can do. But you don't need to be behind the eight ball to now turn me up. You know what I mean? Players hate that. Like, oh, you don't look my way for 2 or 3 quarters. Now all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, you want me to come and save the day. But that ain't how it works. I want to eat all night. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll see. As a feature back this season, Jameer Gibbs, if he's able to go out there and put that offensive output, consistency, you know they got 2 tight ends. They got 2 tight ends. So like they got the playmakers. So we'll see. I don't know if they went out and got a legit offensive coordinator. I didn't look that up in the offseason. Somebody, because the fact that Dan Campbell thought he had to call the plays, that's not a good sign. You know what I mean? The guy was a tight end. I get it, but you're not an offensive play calling guy. You're a CEO. You're the head coach. You're an overseer. You're a motivator. But he's not like a schematic guy. I don't think that was wise. But I get it. If I'm gonna go down, it's gonna be my ship that's going down. I respect it in a way. But again, they projected to go 12-5, and many people's looking at the schedule. And just that division is tough. But they have it, like you say, Calvin, the third place schedule they facing. They should finish pretty good for the season. So yeah. Anything on that Terry and Arnold thing?
Yeah, it was allegedly he orchestrated the robbery of someone who he thought robbed his house. But I remember that I read it. So that was the charges. But he posted bail, and there hasn't been any movement on a trial, of course. But he's been trying out and staying in shape. What the article said. So,
He took the law into his own hands. All right,
but
gotcha.
so, yeah, but it's allegedly. It
Yeah,
looks like
allegedly.
it's
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Next up, the Green Bay Packers. Packers are an interesting story. I know one of our panelists has been very high on this team the last multiple years, and it continued to disappoint him. But I'm gonna start with you, Justin. What's your thoughts on the 2026 Green Bay Packers? They've made some moves in the offseason, lost some key players, but will this team be able to finally take that step that a lot of people have been waiting for?
Um, no.
You ain't put no thought behind that.
It's it's funny. Besides Tampa Bay, the reason why they're grouped together is because they was all in the same division.
And they
And
all
now we're
had
talking,
similar records.
and they all had similar records. And if it wasn't for that time, they probably would have called an L. And they would have had the same record. Um, Micah was hurt. Just call it what it is. So we have to make sure that he has a healthy season. So I'm going to give them that at least. Um, they added Zaire Franklin. That was a
Yeah,
very good pickup to solidify
great
your
addition.
linebacker core.
Great
Excellent
addition.
pickup.
So that was one of the things that was definitely ailing them. But besides that, their offense was mid pack. So that means Jordan Love needs to do a little bit more. He needs to get his wide receivers involved. Uh, Josh Jacobs, what are they going to do with Josh Jacobs? Josh Jacobs having issues. You know what I mean? So what are they going do they need to replace him? Do they need to find something else? Like I don't know. I just know that Josh Jacobs is going through some things and that could affect the team moving forward. You need him. So we'll see what happens when it comes to that. So I think it's a lot, and I think it finally catches up with them. And I think they're one of the teams to take a fall back. They all can't be 9-8 again this year. So I think somebody has to go and take a step back. If I say Minnesota's going to take a step forward, and I think the other team in the division, the Detroit's going to take a step forward. Chicago might take one step back, but they all can't have the same record. So somebody got to be struggling. So I think this is the team to do it. I just don't believe Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs on the crew that much, and Micah can't do it all. So I think they struggle again.
I think it's interesting that they let Romeo Dobbs get out the building. I just really do. I thought he was their most consistent receiver last year, and you can't count on the rest of them. They all get hurt, like tight end, everybody.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think injuries is another case with this team. We talked about with the 49ers, but this Packers team has been snake
Yeah.
bitten. Then you traded away your depth to the Cowboys to go get Micah. Then you made another trade. Like, I don't know, man. Defensively, I like the Zaire Franklin addition. I really do. Javon Hargrave, those are upgrades. I give them credit for those.
Yeah.
But offensively, I don't know. What's your thoughts, Calvin?
You talk about injuries. Hargrave is on PUP as well, so
Dang.
that's he's not playing until week 4. Well, I'm assuming he was put on PUP after training camp, so he may not play until after week 4. But you talk about the receivers with Watson, Jaden Reed, and Matthew Golden. Somebody got to stay. Somebody has to stay healthy. Somebody has to step up being number one. They've had this young group of receivers, and no one has stepped up to help Jordan Love as of yet. Josh Jacobs had a worse year than he had the year before, his first year in Green Bay. Micah's hurt. He's trying to come back. So you have a lot of injured players that have come back, and you hope to make a contribution this year. Look, I see them finishing around the same, around that 10-7 mark. Look, Jordan Love has not taken that step that I thought he was going to take. And he has been. Now you want to blame that on the receivers. You want to blame that on him. You want to blame that on LaFleur. For whatever the reason is, he has not taken that step. He's shown flashes, but he has not been consistent, and therefore their record reflects his inconsistent play, in my opinion. I think they stay about the same, but I have Minnesota taking a step back. I have Chicago taking a slight step back as well, so I think they stay about the same. I think Detroit's the bigger winner in this division, especially with that third place schedule. So it's on Green Bay to put together consistent wins, even if you don't have your best players like Michael Parsons or Hargrave. It's on Jordan Love to step up and play like a top 6 or 7 quarterback. We talk about the same quarterbacks. We never talk about Jordan Love, but he's paid like he's one of those guys. And what has he shown for what has he done? Nothing as of yet. He's not consistent, like I said. So it's on Jordan Love, in my opinion, to be better in order for this team to be better than they were last year and not to be as mediocre as they were.
I mean, Jordan Love did show flashes. Like the playoff
He's
game,
showing flashes. You're right. It's not consistent
playoff
though.
game, he was sensational.
It's not consistent.
He was sensational in the playoff game. I thought he did everything he could to win that game. Caleb Williams just pulled out a miracle. I mean, it is what it is. Like you can't call what Caleb did anything short of a miracle because it's one of the greatest, like, big clutch throws you'll ever see in NFL history, and it was legitimately a miracle like that. So it's not like the Packers weren't right there. My problem is the injuries keep putting them in positions where they have to play from behind, or Jordan Love doesn't have room for error. Like he'll get called a turnover machine because he likes to push the ball down the field. But one of the guys who was helping him come up big in a lot of those situations and was most consistent, you let him walk. Romeo Dobbs was his best, most consistent guy who could. Yeah, he had to wear that damn Guardian cap on his head, so he looked like a goddamn cartoon character out there. But the man could catch the football, and you could count on him. But like you say, Matthew Golden. What has Matthew Golden done in this league where we can hang our hat on it? Nothing.
Have a good name.
The wide receiver who I thought would take the next step last year because all he did the year prior was catch touchdowns and catch after catch after catch. He hurt again. So, like, again.
He got paid too. Christian, they paid him.
They paid
Like,
him.
yeah, they paid him like a number one.
What's the
They
tight
paid
end
him
name?
last year. Tucker Kraft.
He got hurt. Tucker Kraft.
Yeah,
I thought they
he
kind
got
of
hurt.
went downhill once he got
He
injured.
was
as
having
well.
a great season. And was it Pittsburgh? I think he got hurt.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. Next up, speaking of Pittsburgh, Steelers are up next. New head
Good
coach
segue.
and Mike McCarthy is taking over the helm from Mike Tomlin. So this will be the first time in 19 years, I believe, 20 years he was there. I can't even think how long it was.
18, 19, something like that.
Yeah. So the
Same
first
amount
time,
of Harbaugh, right?
yeah. I think he was there the year prior to Harbaugh, or they came in together.
I thought they came the same
Okay.
year.
So this is a new regime, a new day in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers is back. He said this is his final season, and look, guys, they beat the Ravens last year. They made the playoffs. They were no competition in the playoffs. We know that. but you can't say they didn't go out and try. They traded for DK Metcalf. They went and got a Michael Pittman Jr. They went out and got Rico Dowdle, who showed promise in Carolina last year. Is that an upgrade from Kenneth Gainwell? I don't think Kenneth Gainwell was an every down back. He was splitting carries. But I think Rico Dowdle, if given the opportunity, he could be a good back. We saw what he did to the Dallas Cowboys last year when given opportunities. He was good, but I think Carolina just thought Chuba Hubbard was better for his every down back. But I think offensively, if they utilize those weapons and don't try to lean too much on Aaron Rodgers and get the ball out of his hands quickly, I thought they did a good job of that in the second half of the season last year with Kenneth Gainwell. A lot of dump offs, a lot of check downs. They're not going to be able to do exactly that same game plan. But you lost Mika Fitzpatrick. You lost Jalen Ramsey. You lost, some of that veteran leadership. But I also thought they were a little slow. They were a little, holding you back. So did you get younger in the draft? Yes, they made some key pickups in the NFL draft this past season that might help them in the long run. But we'll see. Health has been a big issue for this team. TJ Watt has not been consistently an all-pro pass rusher in this league the last two, maybe 3 seasons at this point. Remember, this man was 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah. Like, he's that type of talented. But he has not been able to stay on the field. But one thing we know about the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are able to develop linebackers and find guys out of the woodwork. Patrick Queen is still there, is he not? So there's your weakness. So we'll find out more we need to know about this team. I think they'll be competitive. If there's 4 teams in the division, I really think they'll be competing for first place again. As much as we can. Look, that's just the way it goes.
Huh? That's what I say. Why wouldn't they?
That's what I'm saying. They won the division. That's just the way it goes, man. I think they're they're better than they were last year. I really do think that. From an offensive perspective, they are better than what they were last year. Remember, if DK Metcalf doesn't get suspended, it doesn't come down to that last game of the season. They win the division handily. I know we can talk about when Lamar was hurt and all that kind of stuff, but they weren't looking bad down the stretch. They really weren't. So, again, add Michael Pittman. I think that makes this team formidable. I'm not picking them to win the division. I think the Ravens should beat them if they play up to their potential. I'm not saying that I can 100% project that they're better than Cincinnati Bengals. But I know defensively they are. I know tough-wise I can hang my hat on with who they got on defense over who Cincinnati has on defense. And I think that could be the difference. So that's where my opinion stands. Justin, who's your thoughts?
I think Rico was just looking for a team where maybe he can get some type of assurance that, like, yo, you're our guy. And I think that he's taking over the majority of the carries over what's his name? Waddle Watson, whatever. Warren. Yeah, he's taking he got the first team carries now. So he took his spot. So no doubt. So it's like, okay, so you got your 1,000-yard rusher. Boom, check that. And he's really good. He's a really good back. He just need a home. So when you add a Michael Pittman, what does that mean? So I got DK and Mike. What does that do for Aaron? Aaron does not. What's the one thing he don't want to do? Does not want to get hit. So if you can't separate, then, which not every receiver can separate like that, then you need to have a target radius where I can throw the ball and you can go get it.
He loved to launch that, man.
And he has 2 receivers now that can get that done. Because Michael Pittman, he's a jump ball kind of a guy too. So it's like, cool. Check that off as well. Okay, the offensive line needed help. They with their first round pick, they added that. Check that off. Now, how good is it going to be? We'll see. But at the end of the day, they addressed it. So these are things that the Pittsburgh Steelers have done. Now, will everything check off as though they're going to win majority of the games? That's we play football for that. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, are they better than Cleveland? Yes. Are they comparable with the Bengals? Yes. Are they comparable with the Ravens? Yes. Can any of those teams beat each other? Yes. However, they did things to help Aaron Rodgers be the best Aaron Rodgers he could be at whatever age he is right now. That's all that matters. He has solidified the running game, solidified the passing game. Let's see what they can do now. Now it's on Mike McCarthy and the crew, and we can see what
But
happens.
I
So,
think that's another
That's what I
good point.
wanted to get to.
Before you hop in, Calvin, who was the offensive coordinator last year in Pittsburgh?
well, I don't know.
I'm blanking on his
Exactly.
name. It's the
That's the
older
point.
guy. No, it was the guy that been there forever. I forgot his name.
That's the point.
I forgot his name.
They have not had a legitimate offense in Pittsburgh in years. And that's been a complaint. And we all know a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I certainly do. And they hate their offense. They like Mike Tomlin was stubborn. He would not revamp the offense, wouldn't go out and hire a new offensive coordinator. And that was part of the problem. At least we know Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers have a rapport. We know they had success. And we know what type of offensive system they run. Having a Michael Pittman and a DK Metcalf, and I think people are sleeping on DK Metcalf. That guy's still DK Metcalf. He's still a playmaker in this league. I'm not going to sit here and act like we just going to forget that Aaron Rodgers can still swing that rock. He can still throw the football. So, again, do not take this team lightly. They still the Pittsburgh Steelers. Go ahead, Cal.
That's brought up at the end. Like, this is Mike McCarthy. This isn't 2010 when they won the Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. Like, I don't see that Mike McCarthy hype. His last stop in Dallas, I can tell you all about it, and it was very underwhelming. And I think he had more talent than he has on offense than he has this year in Pittsburgh. I think they were better suited to start young and go after the offensive coordinator from Seattle that went to Vegas. I'm blanking on his name right now. I think that's would have been better. I don't see them having to take a missed field goal to make the playoffs, and then you bring back that offense and you add a receiver. I don't see the big improvement in Pittsburgh. You want to say they're healthier? You want to say T.J. Watt is healthier? I think that's fine. I think no one wanted to trade for him. I think that's why he's still there. They didn't want to pay the Max Crosby package or even a 1 and a 2, or even a 2-1 like you got for Michael Parsons. I think they're an older team that with an older quarterback, and we're banking on that once again. Did they get better? Did they get better? Did they get offensive linemen in the draft? Yes. Does that make Aaron Rodgers better at 40, whatever he is? I'm not saying they won't compete for a playoff spot. I just don't see this vast improvement that you guys are talking about. And it starts with Mike McCarthy, who I need to see improvement from if it's going to be his relationship with Aaron Rodgers. But when they last were together, it was Aaron Rodgers who ran him out of town, ran him out of Green Bay. And now we're supposed to expect that they've mended their relationship. When Aaron Rodgers doesn't mend anything with anyone, look at his family.
Not true.
Like I don't see it. Like if you want to tell me and they were 9-8 last year, right?
It was 10-7.
That's a projection. No, never mind.
It's for this year projection.
Yes, projection. Like I think this is their first team, the first year under 500. And I think Mike Tomlin has a lot to do with it. I believe he held this team together and got the best out of them on offense, defense, and special teams. I don't know if Mike McCarthy can do that. Will he get the best out of his offense? You want to say that? Okay. Can he do that on defense? Can he do it on special teams? He didn't do it in Dallas. So why am I supposed to have higher expectations for him this year than what I saw previously with more talent? I don't know. I don't see it.
I'd argue y'all had more talent. I'd argue that. Y'all couldn't stop the run. Y'all couldn't play defense. Here's the thing. Pittsburgh is still built on defense. They got rid of some of the weak links. They shored up some of the holes. And some of the guys they drafted over the last 2 years, they're going to be better. I really do think this team is going to be better. And then I'm so tired of Ravens fans. I really am. I'm a Ravens fan. But let's not fool ourselves, guys. We lost to the Steelers the last game of the season on a missed field goal. Yes, a miracle we tried to pull off at the end. Who didn't play in that game? DK Metcalf. He was suspended for the final 2 games of the season. Aaron Rodgers went out there and beat the Ravens with Calvin Austin as the number 1 receiver. So let's not act like, like we would have won. The Steelers weren't in that full strength, and we lost the game. So again,
So you gotta win the Super Bowl,
huh?
Jesus.
You forgot about that.
No, he asked you, do you got to win in the Super Bowl?
No, it's not about the Super Bowl, man. I'm saying Do not sell your opponent short. Be realistic. Judge what you see. I'm not saying they're the greatest. I'm just saying I will take a D. Is DK Metcalf better than Zay Flowers? Answer the question, Calvin.
He's paid like it.
All right, I'm done. Is Michael Pittman Jr. better than Bateman?
I ain't gonna say that. Michael Pittman Jr. had what, a half a season. We acting like he just did get traded
Oh,
for
that was his only
4.
season in Indy. That was the only
No,
season.
that wasn't his only season ended. We gonna act like he's ever been a part of a winning organization. Like I'm not gonna. You want to throw out names? Like
I'm
okay,
just saying, guys. The man has weapons to throw the ball to. That's all I'm saying. Let's not sell our opponents short. That's all I'm saying. Let's keep it moving. That's it. That's it for this week. We did 5. So again, we try to do 4 every week leading up to the season. Tonight was the Hall of Fame game. NFL kicked off the preseason with the Hall of Fame game. You know, a lot of people don't play. I'm not sure really. It should be still on, right? The game should still be going on, whatever.
I gotta
I'm
check.
sure ceremonial. Got the NFL Hall of Fame going on this weekend. Um, got some players going in who, you know, we talked about this when the list was released. It was the list released over Super Bowl weekend, wasn't it? Like I think it was
Yeah, it was a
NFL
while,
honors.
definitely a while ago.
Yeah, so Hall of Fame game tonight. So kicking off the
This
preseason.
is
So we
wrapping up.
got
It's
a
a
bunch of
3-point game with
preseason
a minute
games.
left.
What'd you say?
3-point game with a minute left.
Yeah, so a lot of preseason games kicking off this weekend, so we'll be able to evaluate some of the players. So I'm sure next week's show we'll have some thoughts on if anybody was flashing early, any of the young players on some of the teams around the league. If any, all the prognosticators like to say who's going to take over certain positions, and off of week 1. I really don't judge week 1 as much because there's only 3 preseason games now, right?
Hmm.
So you'll get. I think what has been going here lately, people will play summer game 1, but game 2 is really like the game where everybody kind of like gets their feet wet a little bit, and then some people might play the first half or a quarter of that third game and then chill. But I really think because the season starts so late this year, because if you look at the calendar, the season don't start because it's 5 weeks in August this year.
Because
I
of how
think
late
the
Labor
season
Day is.
the season start like 10th or something like that.
The 9th. Because
It's a Wednesday game.
yeah, they play in Australia.
Okay, so damn, we are still 1, 2,
Rams
3, 4.
49ers.
We 5 weeks, 6 weeks away from the season, and it's only 3 preseason games. Ain't that kind of weird? Like it's spread out. Like if you
I
do
think
3, that's 1, 2, 3. You get like a week in between for cuts. Establishing your final roster, and then we get into the season the following week. So a lot will change between now and then. A lot of these teams will pick guys up. Somebody who's on somebody's roster right now be on a different roster by the time the season starts. So will be a lot of changes in that regard. But I'm excited, man. The NFL is back. But shout out to the Hall of Famers this weekend. Drew Brees headlining the class. Larry Fitzgerald going in. Shout out to Larry Fitz. Had a tremendous career. Luke Kuechly, Hall of Famer, first ballot. Adam Vinatieri going in. All the deserving. Of course, we talked about, Roger Craig going in. We talked about feeling like Terrell Suggs. Some other guys should have got the nod, but hopefully they'll get their opportunity this coming season. But before we get out of here, got to touch on the Orioles. Adley Rutschman was traded this past week. A lot of people had some strong feelings about it. I know, Justin, you prognosticated this a couple weeks ago. Felt like the Orioles should have did it.
And you're
But
happy about it?
I just think this team has been on the verge of trying to make a playoff push. I think you should be a buyer, not a seller. I really do. Try to make your team better, not worse. But if you think this is best for the future, they made a lot of moves on the trade deadline. Very uncharacteristic of the Orioles. A lot of people have been very critical of Elias, thinking that some of the moves weren't for the best interest of winning now, and it's another rebuild type of situation, and it sends a message to any upcoming free agents that hey, you might want to shop elsewhere. What's your thoughts on all that, Calvin?
I'm going back and forth about how I felt with this blooming strike. I don't know what's going to happen in regards to labor negotiations in baseball, and I think that plays a part. I think that plays a part in this trade as well, because if there's a strike next year, then all of a sudden you don't have control of Adley because he'll be a free agent after next year. Can't even say next season. So I think all this plays a part. I would love to have kept him. There was some back and forth about how the contract that he was offered wasn't what he expected. And I think Basayo plays a part in that as well, because when they signed Basayo, it makes him more expendable. But I think the catcher is one of the most daunting positions on the body. So when you have two good ones, but the potential to be great, I think you have an advantage over everyone in the league. It's hard to trade him in division as well, but if he's a free agent, and the rumor was he wants to go back to the West Coast. So I think he's from Oregon State. I think that's where he's from, because he's talking about going to the West Coast, or wanting to go home, quote unquote. So if he gets a chance to flourish in Boston, I'm not upset. You get to see him 20 something times a year. We'll see what happens next year with labor negotiations, if that helps the Orioles in their pursuit of free agents going into the future. You re-signed two of your pitchers. There's rumors of Rogers getting re-signed as well. You also traded Taylor Ward, who only had 6 home runs, I think, to this point, 7 home runs, something like that. You expected more power from him. So sad to see Rushman go. He was the original piece of this revamped Orioles when he got drafted in 2019, and he came up in 2022. Still remember that. So sad to see him go. I guess there's always a chance he can come back. I could be optimistic about that, but prospects are prospects. They're that for a reason. You don't know what you're getting from them. You got some of Boston's great ones, but they're still unproven. So did you win a trade? You won't. With baseball trade, you don't know if you won them for a couple of years. But I'm sad to see Adley go.
Justin, your thoughts with the Oriole bird?
All right, so with everything that Calvin just said, it sucks the way he found out. Apparently, him,
Going to the movies.
Gunner, Colton, they was going to see Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and they realized that it was a brand new day for his ass. That's what they realized. It's a brand new day for Adley Rutschman, because he is out of here. And I've been said this. Let's get this done. Why? Because he's a depreciating value. As much as you want to say how good he is, right? He might be the best catcher in the league. Cool. I'm okay with having a top tier catcher and not necessarily the best catcher. Why? Because what are we getting in return? We got one of the best right-handed pitching prospects. But you got to do it. You got to start somewhere. You know what that means? That means no injuries, no Tommy Johns, none of that stuff. That is also what that means. He's 21. He's ready. He's their top prospect. He's one of the top prospects. Let's go through. Matter of fact, if you don't believe me, this is coming out of Boston. Headlines: Training Anthony Asian was a mistake. Red Sox pitching prospect shipped to Baltimore rumored to be damaged goods, as in Brushman rumored to be damaged goods.
Yeah.
Like that's coming out of Boston. Why would they? You know what I'm saying? They really value this guy. So to get someone that they truly value and then we got more. We got another right-handed pitcher, and we got another catcher in return too. So it's not like we just gave up on a position. No, we actually filled in a position as well, with Basayo being the lead guy now. Like that's what you're supposed to do. When you know that you have a issue at pitching, and that's what's going to get us to the next level. It's not this season. I've been told y'all give up on the season. It's next season. You still got the talent, but once these guys get to a certain level, it's time to get rid of them so you can cover the holes that the team has. The team has pitching issues. Guess what? He'll be starting next year. He's coming up. He's not going to sit another season in AAA, whatever that. He's playing next year, so you can add him to the roster, and now you got a good young talent. Could be a starter pitcher day one. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to do. So, by all means, shout out to the organization. You made the right move. You should have got rid of other people too, but I'm okay with at least Atlee going. Jordan injured ass should have went right along with him. That's what he should have did. But he's injured.
They ain't want nobody trading for him.
Exactly. You was going to say that same thing once Atlee starts getting injured on a regular basis because he gets hurt a lot. And then you won't have nothing for him. Then we got to keep him. So, no. Beautiful job. Wait till Atlee had a good season. Once again, great job. Get his ass up out of here. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, whatever. That's why we lose. You know what I mean? We're used to it. So, yeah, justify it. Ain't like we ever won anything. So, you know what I mean? In our lifetime,
Yeah,
you know, so
true.
just keep losing. It is what it is. Built for the next year to lose again. Yeah, that's the
Want to
answer.
draft somebody high, develop them, and trade them.
You know what I mean? That's what we
Gunner
do.
next.
Why
Gunner's
not?
next. I'm already.
You know what I mean? Let Gunner walk
As,
too.
as,
Get
as hard
something
as I
else for
was
him.
on
And
Gunner
then
a couple weeks ago.
let's pick Hope down the road again.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not. If you tell
That's
me that
what we used to.
I'm getting top tier pitching back,
You're right. You're right. You're right.
I'm cool.
You're getting prospects.
Prospects who,
That's top
as soon
tier
as they,
pitching.
as
What
soon
if
as
they
they
what
ready
if
to
they
get
prove?
paid,
What if
they'll
they?
be
Yeah,
out of here too.
you're trading for them on potential. There's a difference between baseball
Potential.
baseball
That's what the
potential
Orioles
and
been
football
doing for
potential.
40 years.
Like Gunner's next. As hard as I was on Gunner, and as bad of a season
He outta here.
as he had, when he hit that triple, I think it was Friday. Was it Friday or the Friday before last? And you just saw the excitement, the passion. I'm okay. I'm not going to knock Gunner anymore because it's you're having a bad season and that you thought that was a turning point, and you end up losing the next two
They
games.
are
and then
one
that leads
game
you
out
to
of the playoffs right now.
Did they win
Yesterday
today?
they were a half game.
They lost today.
They lost this afternoon. Yeah, they were on the verge of a sweep, but they lost today. Out in
No.
LA.
Oh yeah. Because they won the first two. You're right.
They won 3 in a row. So look, it is what it is. You don't want to win. It's not like we're used to winning in Baltimore. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a culture of, yeah, we don't win the World Series every year, but at least we make the playoffs. We competitive. We fight to the end. Just throw in the towel and hope for the best. The next 5 years after another rebuild. Good job, Elias. Stand with the Baltimore Oriole culture. Because that's the culture. That is what we're used to. So we justify losing by saying,
We got a
we got
haul.
prospects.
We got a haul for Rushman. Y'all, you just
A haul of what?
we got wait one season. Wait till the end of the season. Wait till the end of the season.
How long have we been waiting, Justin?
Rushman wasn't going to make that much of a difference.
I'm just saying. No. I think you're missing my point. I think if you're going to trade guys, yes, prospects are good, but bring me back an asset as well that can help me now. I'm on a playoff push. I'm not 20 games out. I'm not in the doldrums.
When
I'm a
Rushman gets
half
hurt
game out.
in a week and a half from now, I'm gonna be like, I told you.
The Orioles have been competing for the past month. Legit. July was sensational. Go back and look at it.
Yeah, for sure.
So why would you throw in the towel then? Why not say, okay, let's see what we can do here. Let's add a piece to see if we can go over top. You see what the Dodgers did? You see what the LA Dodgers did at the trade deadline?
The Dodgers.
But that's my point. It's a mentality. If you want to change, you got to do something. You have to shake things up. You got to go out there and say, hey, guys, we're trying to win. If you want to be part of a winning culture, Adley, you might not want to leave if we make this push. And you're right. I'll resign. Why not? You might not. If Gunner looking like, okay, the team is making some moves that help me while I'm out here like busting my ass and doing the best I can. We just signed. That was a great pickup from New York. He's been great. Alonso has been consistent. He's probably been the best player all year. That was a great pickup in the offseason. But what does it say to him? I've come here to be with a contender. The Orioles were just in the playoffs a couple years ago. Let's not act like this just a bum team that has no aspiration for being better. You want to build upon that. You don't want to just say, oh, prospects. We'll develop some guys and hope for the best for the future. We want to try to win now. That's all I'm saying. And it frustrates the fan base because I've been seeing it, I've been hearing, I've been reading it, and I can't help but side with it. you're right. This is not a kick the can down the road type of situation. The Orioles have not coming off of a championship 5 years ago that they can rest their laurels on. The Orioles have not won since 1983. At what point do you
For any of
say,
us who were born, we all
bruh,
40.
at what point do you say, let's go all in? Let's push the chips to the middle of the table. Let's try to go to Cleveland and say, let me get your guy. Let's go. Like, LA just did this. And they did it. Why? Because they so great and they had so many prospects to give up? No. They made a move that was like, yo, that's all you had to do? Like, that's it? I'm sorry, man. You a half game out? Make a push. The American League is winnable. Do you see this? Do you see the American League this year? If it's any year, did you be like, yo, if we push these chips to the center, we could make a run. This is the year. You don't wait. Anyway, again, I've been following this team my whole life, so I'm used to it. So we become numb to it after a while. We like, yeah, we lost. It is what it is. We'll be better next year. That's what we always say around here. And what we get, same old shit. Excuse my French. But it's like, come on, man. At some point, you have to be tired of being compared to the Yankees, not compared, looking up at the Yankees and the Red Sox. And why? How come they can be able to make these moves and retool and get right back to the top, and the Orioles stay where we stay? Because of stuff like this. Prospects. I get it. We've had some great prospects. And you know what the prospects do once they get to a certain level? I want to go. I'm ready to go now, go play for a real winning organization so I can be the best I can be. How about make the Orioles that team? That's your job, Elias. But you get what you get. Calvin, any thoughts on any of that?
No,
Let's move on.
I'm in agreement. It gets tiring not going for it at some point. So
Getting them. And
Go
it'll
O's.
be the same people who Ravens fans who want, oh, the Ravens should need to do this, or we need to put a winner on the field. What? Y'all don't hold the Orioles to the same standard. We just okay. We cool with it. We chill with it. Being bums. It's a loser mentality. Anyway, WWE hosted SummerSlam over the weekend. Real quick before we get out of here, I thought overall it was a solid event over the 2 nights. There was some good, there was some bad, there was some ugly, there was some real ugly. But I thought the good was good. Nothing sensational. I thought putting Brock over, Oba over Brock, it would have been perfect if he would have put him on them boards with the fall from with the power bomb. If he'd have done it right on the boards,
Fall from grace.
Fall from grace. That would have been a perfect ending. But I don't think he wanted to kill Brock like that. But it was interesting. It was good. Calvin, overall, what was your thoughts on the weekend?
I think night 2 was better than night 1. Glad to see the return of KO. That was unexpected in my opinion. I was happy to see a return that wasn't spoiled, because I didn't see too many people calling for that. And him to walk in and get to number 1 contender, I'm okay with it. I'm glad he's back. I also got to see the return of Randy Orton on Saturday night. So it was like you said, it was a lot of good overall. I do think night 2 is better than night 1. Happy for Oba. Excited to see what's next. Excited for the conversation with him and Heyman on Monday night, which was interesting in my opinion. Glad we got a resolution to the Rollins Roman feud. It's about time. And this was, you could tell, was planned originally for a WrestleMania, but I'm glad this feud is over. They don't have to be friends, but we don't have to have them tied together anymore, as we've had for the last 10, 12 years, whatever it was. So I'm happy for that as well. Interested in seeing Roman actually wrestle on Raw for the first time in what feels like forever as well next month. So I'm glad he's trying to keep his Mr. Summer, dreams alive. But overall, I thought it was a good card. Has, how like you said, had the good, the bad, the ugly. But the things that stick out to me: the return of KO, Roman's Rollins finale, and the sportsmanship level that you want to call it Brock has for Oba, put on the stage in front of his hometown. So That's all I got.
Justin, your thoughts on the weekend overall?
Um, yeah, night one was trash. Um,
I ain't say trash. I just
it
said
was
night two was
trash.
trash.
But I liked Randy saved that match. By the way, that match was god awful. And CM Punk really showed his age in that match.
You
So
thought
sometimes,
Brock and Oba was trash?
no, I wasn't done.
He said Cody. You said Cody
No,
CM Punk.
I said
He
Randy
said
saved
night
that
one was
match.
trash, and
It
Brock and
was
Oba was
trash.
on night one.
It was air freshener within a trash bag. So, shout out to Oba for not killing Brock. I think Oba changed his direction in the last second to avoid that spot that Brock probably wanted to do.
Yeah, he definitely
Um,
wanted to
Yeah.
do it.
look, man. I hate when people get old and they try to do extra stuff on the way out. Man, just go on happy. Go on happy. We'll see you when Saudi gives you $5 million to come back for 5 minutes.
At WrestleMania. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I didn't like Trick losing. I'll say that.
That's another
I,
one.
I,
I
I
want to talk
understand
about
that
that.
he's probably getting bumped up to the championship picture, but there's a lot of other ways you could have went about
SmackDown
that.
got
You know,
Could have had
they could
Melo
have
beat him.
they could have clearly called Mello out, and Mello could have took a pinfall, and then he's still same outcome, and now you have a feud between those two guys, and Trick uses that on his way out. Night two, KO coming out first. The Gunther was like, "Oh, okay, all right, cool," and then he said, "We're not done yet." What? And then the KO music came. Now we seen KO backstages doing other type of press events and things like so. KO was showing his face, but nowhere near did I see any type of training from Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
They scrubbed the internet of that. Like he ain't
And he
post
went
none of
all
that.
out too.
Yeah.
He threw everything he had
I
out
was,
there.
and then I was like, "Oh, KO, you doing too much, my guy. Like you ain't got to do sitars and all that. Chill out, KO."
I thought it was
So,
Drew. I thought it was Drew.
I, Drew's coming. I don't know when.
He's doing
but,
a movie right now.
Yeah, the movie's going and got to wrap up. So the movie's take about 2-3 months. With that being said, I knew Chad was going to win. I didn't necessarily have any issues with that. Yeah, just night two with Chelsea, man. Look, man, I said this on We Talk Combat. Shout out to We Talk Combat Sundays at 3. People wanted Lash to win, and I said, look, Lash is like Kane, dog. They're always going to have her play a big spot in different types of matches, the Royal Rumbles of the world, War Games and stuff. She's an attraction, but she's not a champion, unfortunately. And then she might get one or two. She might get a championship joint. But I was like, for this interim time period before Rhea gets back, Chelsea is highly entertaining.
Yeah.
Like when she got close the first time, the pop went crazy. I said, "Oh yeah, they gonna do it."
And that's over Tiffany. And this was her hometown.
Tiffany in her hometown, and everybody else, Jays of the world, Charlottes of the world, they did not have that type of pop. And for her to come back and then get the title, I was like, yeah. And then, like I said, we talked about this as well. It seems like Unreal is setting narratives instead of being true kayfabe, like they're breaking kayfabe. No, they're setting playbooks. They're setting the plays, and this was one of the payoffs. They had her seem like the underdog, so when she had her moment, that's why it was so big. So shout out to that. And Roman, man, and Seth, man, they just. Tell me when Roman has a bad match, and then I'll be like, okay, yeah, that was one. It's hard. It's hard for me to see that he had 3 matches so far. He had a good matchup with Jacob. He had a phenomenal matchup with CM Punk. And then he followed up with Seth. Like the dude closes the show, and they give him 30 minutes to do it, but he closes the show and it's entertaining, my guy. And he is him. So until somebody takes that spotlight and that can hold it down for over 25 minutes, it's Roman's world, man. We just live in it.
Yeah, I think Roman's one of those guys where the crowd tell you everything you need to know. Like you can be tired of him, but when the music hit and he come through the curtain, there's a different feeling in the air. I mean, that's just the way it is, man. And I think this is such a unique time for us because when I can only go back to the 80s. Hogan was on top for multiple years, right? And he was over for a lot of years.
That's an undersell. Multiple years.
You know what I mean.
Whole
But
decade.
once towards the end, people grew tired of him.
Early
So they
90s.
moved him out the way, and then it became a revolving door. You had your Shawns, you had your Bretts, you had your,
It was Brett before Sean. Don't do that to Brett.
you know what I mean? You had your Diesel, you had your Undertaker.
Warrior first.
Well, that was later. I'm
You,
talking about as far as like in that
but no,
90s period.
people started to get tired of Hogan too, and then that's why they pushed
That's when they
Warrior.
placed him with Savage, and then they went to Warrior.
Mhm.
But what I mean is, nobody had an extended run. People remember the Attitude Era in Austin. Austin won the title in '98. Austin was retired in '03. That's 5 years. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Rock made it big in '99.
He
Rock was gone
on by 03.
04. You know what I mean? Really 03, to be honest with you. Started making movies. He made The Mummy in like, I think it was like 03, 04. Like,
I thought that was
Rock
02,
beat him in-
and then he left when the Scorpion came.
Rock beat him in 02, really. If you go back and be real with it, that was like the passing of the torch match, and then he was gone, 02. So that's 3 years. So yeah, during that period, we were used, like top guys weren't really on top that long.
Yeah.
Then you got your Cena, where Cena was there, and it was like, damn, is he never gonna leave? Because it felt like we got accustomed to, hey, top guys ain't around that long. You know what I mean? So yeah, Roman coming onto the scene in 2015, it was 2015, and losing to Seth when Seth cashed it in, when him and Brock had the
At
3-way
WrestleMania.
at WrestleMania. That was 2015, guys. People act like that was 20 years ago. That was 11 years ago at this point. Roman was not on top consistently until after COVID. Remember,
Yeah.
Brock was on top, Cena was on top. You had the revolving door at the top, and Roman just kept getting
Yeah.
pushed.
Head of the
Similar
table.
to how they doing Braun Breaker right now. Like a lot of people, they shoved Roman down the throat of everybody, where everybody started tiring of Roman really quick, which is why they try not to do the same with Braun. They said, let's pull back a little bit.
I
We've
think they went a
seen
little
this.
bit too far with Braun, but go ahead.
But think about it.
Agreed.
You just made the point about
Unreal.
setting narratives.
Mm-hmm.
That's
sure
the
did.
narrative they want you to have. They want you to be like, damn, they treating Braun Breaker so bad. We want him to get over. Oh, come on, give Braun a chance. They put him with Austin Theory, somebody who's not deserving, having Braun stand in the background with a tag team title. And they're like, why the hell is he playing chauffeur? You can go on Reddit, you can go on Twitter, you can go anywhere. Everybody caping for Braun Breaker. This is psychological, guys. They playing with y'all. They are playing with y'all to make you want him to overcome, because they always wanted him to be the guy. But they tried to
Gotta stay healthy.
make you want it, but it's really their whole plan the whole time, and y'all falling for it. Like
So to
it
support
makes
you real
want it.
quick, to
Go ahead.
support you real quick, Braun was giving this look like he didn't want to be there, right?
All in the
And I was like, okay, let me see him doing a house show. Biggest smile on his face. Biggest smile, like he's enjoying the show just like everybody else. So that told you right there. They're telling him to have this scowl on his face on the live events or on the televised events to push the narrative. Like, now I'm fed up. This is what I'm reduced to, and all this other stuff. And I'm not saying it, but this is what it is. So when the time comes, we're gonna light the switch. We're gonna, and
He could be the biggest baby face they got if they wanted to. That's my point. It's like if people feel like this is what the company wants, and that's why I feel with Oba. Eventually, people going to turn on Oba. They're going to be like, they just shoving him down our throats. He beating everybody. He's unstoppable. That's why they had Brock beat him. They want to slow him down. They don't want him to be that guy where you just, because that's the mistake they made with Roman. They made Roman untouchable. They made Roman like beat everybody. And like, damn, Super Cena. Remember they hated Cena. That's when Cena started getting booed. And when he went up against Jericho, they'd be like, how come he beating Kurt Angle? How come he beating Jericho? These are people we like. You shoving this guy down our throat. He not that good. Now Roman's the biggest star in the business. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, it's justified. Anyway, but all that to say, this interaction they're setting up, and they teased it the other night. Oba and Braun, that's going to be the next big feud that's going to carry this company for the next 10 years. You know what I mean? Those are the guys. I would put one on Raw, one on SmackDown. Keep them apart. And then you had a big clash. Eventually, they're going to have a match this fall. It's coming up. Oba going to win on his way to the top. And then people going to be like, they doing Braun Breaker so bad. And you going to want him to get his chance. And he finally going to break out. Probably at WrestleMania with Oba do. And then it's going to set up the 2 stars for the future. One black, one white. Both of them dogs in their own way. I think it's smart, man. I think it's smart. Why you shaking your head?
Because you forgot Trick Williams. No one's coming on SmackDown to take over what Trick Williams has built.
Where's KO going?
KO probably go on SmackDown.
With CM Punk, with Cody.
I don't think Trick is on the same level as these 2 guys.
I think Trick is a level above Braun.
I don't think Trick can work
I ain't gonna say that.
anywhere close to the level of Braun Breaker.
His
that is the problem.
ability has been called.
Braun can't work himself. He's not the best worker.
He's not. He's way better than Trick. Trick can't work.
What can't Trick do?
Everything.
Oh.
Like, you tell me the last good Trick Williams match, and it'll be his first good match. Tell me the last good one.
The impromptu one when he had against the dog show on the last PLE.
Who we talking about?
He fought some not Ray Phoenix. He fought one of them dudes, one of them AAA dudes on the cusp, on the wing
and
of
it was probably on the strength of whoever the AAA dude was.
It was
they
on
probably
him.
Bounced all around for him.
It was on him.
Trick
Don't do that to Trick.
Trick has to improve, and I think
He has
that's
to
no
improve.
knock on him.
I agree with that. I'm not
He
going
has
to
to.
disrespect him saying he has a
That
match.
Baron Corbin match was terrible, and as wasn't all on Baron Corbin. That was Trick.
It was most. If anybody messed up, it was Yachty. Yachty messed up the flow of that game.
But no, I'm just
He
saying.
shouldn't have been there to begin with, but that's a whole nother
We just
conversation.
talked about Roman. When's the last? It's a main event style in WWE. You can't be like in the old days where Hogan was just dropping the leg and da-da-da. You have to be able to work that style where you can go 30. I don't think Trick is nowhere near there. Oba can do it. Oba can work. Oba can work. He's been working short with Brock, but you saw him in NXT.
You saw Trick in NXT. That's what I'm saying. What we talking about? Trick was giving you 5-star matches in NXT.
With who?
That's NXT.
Mike Santana. That's the TNA champion. He was Mr. TNA when he was
I know who Mike Santana is.
So what you said?
Mike Santana is a good worker.
But you just said who he did it. He had that. He had good matches with Joe Hendry. He had good matches with Ricky Stanks. He had good matches with Oba. What you mean?
Well, Oba was good.
The triple threat with him and Javon. That was a hell of a match.
And Oba did all work.
Oh my God. That's a disrespect at this point.
Yo, he's a hell of a character. He's got the riz, he got the charisma. All that's great. He has to get better in the ring or he will be exposed. It's the Jey Uso syndrome. It's the Jey Uso story all over again.
He's far better than Jey Uso.
Okay. All right. You can't be just an entrance, bro. You can't. You got when a bell ring, you have to follow it up, or you will be a flash in the pan and be back in the tag team division. We've seen it happen. I'm telling you, Trick is great, charisma all over the place. But if he want to be that guy, he got it. He not on Oba level. He not on Braun level in the ring. I'm telling you, he not. And Braun's had an advantage on him. He's been in the system longer.
And all Braun do is find a way to get hurt. That's all Braun does.
I agree, but he wrestles a harder style.
Guess what? That leads him to getting hurt.
But it's more exciting. It's more explosive, and fans.
If my product is going to eventually hurt himself because of how he wrestles, that's not something I want to invest in.
I'll take the highs over the lows. I'll take the highs, baby. Like Austin ended his career over a knee and a neck, but he gave me everything he got when he was out there, baby.
Austin wasn't doing flips and landing on his neck either.
Don't matter. I'll take Braun.
Understood.
4-year period.
We'll
I'll
see.
take it. If you give me 4 solid great years, tremendous years, give it to me, baby.
This is 4 years.
That statement.
You wrestling through.
We'll see.
This ain't you once a week anymore.
I'm not saying Trick ain't an entertaining person. I'm not saying he's not a star.
You know what? That's fine.
He's a star.
Put Braun with Trick. Just go ahead. See what happens to Braun.
I
See
think
what
that
he's
would be
doing.
great. I think Braun
He
would get
will
the
make he
best
will
out
make
of him.
Braun he will make Braun look like he don't belong. He will send him back to NXT.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? His mic skills are god awful.
We're
So
not
he's not going
talking
to beat him
about
on the
that.
mic.
That's true.
You
We're
have
talking about in the
you have
ring.
to be a full entertainer. You have to do it all, right?
But you have to, when the bell rings, you got to back it up. And since he's been on the main
I'm gonna
roster,
tell you what's gonna happen. That spear is gonna come and the trick shot is gonna meet said spear, knock his ass out cold. 1, 2, 3.
you can
Whoop
script
that
anything.
trick. Play
That's
the
great.
horns. Play the
If the
horns.
match goes past 10 minutes, I need more than. Come on, man. Come on, just be honest. It's not there, man. It's not.
CM Punk made him look stupid. This is CM Punk.
But they had a great match. A couple great matches.
It was more so CM Punk carrying him.
You call it what you want. He held up his end. Trick got to hold up his. Trick was in a match with Sammy and it wasn't even good. And Sammy's a good worker.
Sammy,
Anyway.
the same person that lost to Drew in like five minutes. That's Sammy?
Hey, man.
Okay.
That's how they booked it. That don't mean that's the work behind it. I'm saying if you want to be that guy, you got to improve in the ring. In 2026, people want more than just whoop that trick and wearing flashy clothes. You know what I mean?
can't
And a
tell.
couple
They don't want little
catchphrases,
yada yada.
lemon
so.
pepper steppers and stuff. They want to see what you going to do once that bell ring, Chief. And I'm bored. I really am. I'm like, bro, I need more than that. I need more. It's just the way the world, man. I mean, everybody. If you give me, put who's better? Jacob Fatu. Huh. Engine, baby. Non-stop. What do you say? All gas, no brakes.
You know when he had some bricks? When Trick beat his ass 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring.
Your boy the other night, what's his name? Royce Keys. He need to get better. He ain't that good either. Like, come on, man.
Okay, he fight 45. This is best he gonna get.
I'm just saying, it's a level to being a main event in WWE that you got to keep up. Jey Uso is a perfect example. Learn
Jey
from that.
Uso was running out of breath. Jey Uso is totally different than
Maybe
Trick.
Trick running
doing
out.
too
Maybe
much.
that Trick is taking
Trick
too much.
is pre-man athleticism right now.
I like Trick. I do. He's a prospect. He maybe could have stayed down in NXT a little longer.
He did enough. He was two-time everything.
I know. It didn't work. But anyway, that's it for us tonight. This was fun. Yo, I think Oba better than them. I do.
I'm not knocking over. But Braun ain't spectacular.
You
That's what I'm
started
saying.
this. You said that Trick was better than both of them. That's what you said.
I never said both of them. I said when you said send one over to the other side, I said who you gonna put with Trick? Because Trick owns SmackDown. That's why Trick be closing the shows and stuff like that. It's SmackDown said via Trick. That's what it is.
So you think
He's
they
going-
putting Trick into the main event scene? That's why they had Baron Corbin beat him? Because I don't think that's what happened.
Why you think he's been talking to CM Punk? Why you think CM Punk been mentioning his name?
I don't see
That's just for nothing. No,
think they
you
going
gonna
right
put
to
him.
that.
You put him in the mix with Kevin Owens, with CM Punk, with
I
Cody
think they
Rhodes,
going
and
Owens
with
and
Randy.
Punk. I
That's
think
what you
the
do.
match. Owens and Punk going to
You
be
got
a feud.
let him go through the gauntlet. He'll take them all out.
I'll put Solo over Trick. Solo hilarious. Solo been on his game lately, man. That was good the other night doing that match. Look at you.
And Solo's great. You're making me hate Solo right now. And I love Solo.
Guys, we kept y'all late, but Justin was late getting on the show, so we had to go a little extra time tonight. So, we try to give y'all at least 2 hours every week. Appreciate y'all tuning tonight. We covered a lot tonight, but next week we promise we're gonna continue with our greatest NBA Fab Five. Justin gonna get to work on his simulations, aren't you, Justin?
What round we on?
We'll continue that, and then we'll continue our NFL previews. Again, NFL preseason is starting. Take a look at some of the teams, some of the players, some of the prospects. And we getting there, man. Training camps in full swing of things. And we continue on. And then WWE doesn't have a pay-per-view for like 5 weeks. I know they got like Saturday main event coming up.
Money in the Bank is beginning. I mean, not Money in the Bank.
That Money event not till like October. I
Money. Yeah, I was thinking about September. I forgot what
September.
it's called.
Yeah, they off. The next big show They run head to head with AEW all in. Um, they running a NXT show and a AAA show.
And the AAA show, yeah.
Yeah, and Roman
Yeah,
Reigns
that's
they're
early
running
September.
a tournament
Yeah.
to face Roman Reigns in Mexico. So they
Yeah.
just trying to undercut AEW. It's not going to work, but hey, good luck to you. Because AEW clicking on all cylinders right now. Kenny Omega, man, golly, Will Ospreay
Mm.
work for the title. A lot going on AEW. They was in Arena Mexico the other night. If you missed the show, check it out. If you got HBO Max, all the episodes are on there. Get with AEW. Great action. Trick wouldn't be able to last there because he can't work. But
They don't know
it's
how to
all
handle
good.
superstars. That's why.
They got plenty of superstars. Swerve Strickland is the upgraded version of Trick Williams. Yes, sir. Yes. Look it
He
up.
wishes.
When you
Look
start
it up.
talking
Look it up.
unrealistic, that means
He
it's
wishes.
time to go.
Trick is the with the ripoff of Swerve. You remember Swerve?
Absolutely
He was
not.
in WWE. Anyway, we
That's why
appreciate
one
y'all
couldn't cut
tuning
it.
in tonight, and we'll be back next week. Whether that's Wednesday or Thursday, we appreciate y'all following us. Whatever night it is, Get Out Damn Fit's coming to you every week. Whether it's 2 or 3 of us, we're gonna be together. Holla at you. We'll see y'all next week for Calvin, Justin. I'm Larry. Next week, continue it on.
Look, that Trick